As the demonic aura in the black ball was completely absorbed away, the black ball that was initially floating in the air crushed instantly and turned into nothingness. Although the demonic aura energy in the black ball was extremely magnificent, Yi Qingtang had absorbed 3/4 of it while the little white tiger merely absorbed 1/4 of it. Yi Qingtang shot a look at the little white tiger. She did not do it intentionally as the heart of the demon god was not what she could control. Earlier on, she never thought of snatching the demonic aura on the black ball with the little white tiger. She could only say that the little white tiger had bad luck. Congratulations, holy lady. Your martial skills have improved further. You're only days away from the yin-yang perfected Lord realm. It is truly to be congratulated. The Blood Moon Elder rushed up hurriedly and piled smiles on his face. Although the Blood Moon Elder did not know how Yi Qingtang did it, he had long been accustomed to the various miracles that Yi Qingtang displayed. It's the heart in her body again. After calming down, the little white tiger's eyes landed on Yi Qingtang's chest subtly. Could it be that the rumor that my father told me back then was all true? Could it really be related to that heavenly emperor? If that was really the case, won't the history back then be repeated once again? The little white tiger had a serious expression as it pondered to itself. Yi Qingtang saw the little white tiger in deep thought from the corner of her eyes. Do you have anything hidden from me? Yi Qingtang asked the little white tiger with a slight frown. The little white tiger was a little taken aback by Yi Qingtang's question. After it returned to its senses, it snorted coldly. Fuck you. You absorbed my energy previously and absorbed 3/4 of the demonic aura energy in the black ball now. We clearly signed an equality contract, but my treatment is worse than what I'd have if we signed a master and servant contract. With a scoff, the little white tiger immediately looked away and seemed as if it did not wish to talk to her. Yi Qingtang felt a little awkward to hear that. What this little white tiger said made sense as well. She and the Blood Moon Elder only followed behind it, and the mutated beast which had the combat power of a half-step yin-yang perfected lord was also killed by the little white tiger. She did not do anything at all yet reaped the largest gains. You are a fiend celestial beast and have such a noble identity. How can you be so petty? At most, they'll just compensate more to you. Yi Qingtang promised ultimately. I don't care. If you ever enter a mystic realm, land of inheritance, or a blessed grotto heaven in the future, all the treasures you obtain will be split 50-50 with me. The little white tiger puckered its lips and put on an expression which read, I will not forgive you if you don't agree. 40-60. Yi Qingtang smiled. The little white tiger nodded straightforwardly. After witnessing the sight, the Blood Moon Elder could only sigh. Thinking about it carefully, he seemed to live a life even worse than that beast. To think that he was so powerful on this mainland 1,000 years ago, but 1,000 years from then on, the world had changed. Yi Qingtang's lips were curled up at that moment. Currently, she had finally entered the half-step yin-yang perfected lord state, and it was only a matter of time for her to break through to the yin-yang perfected lord state. In her previous life, she used a whole 10 years to reach the yin-yang perfected lord state with much difficulty. Give me some more time. Yi Qingtang's eyes flickered. Once I truly enter the yin-yang perfected lord state, I will order a change to the world. My dear fiend celestial beast, how is the energy stored in your body? How long can you sustain your enlarged form? The Blood Moon Elder looked at the little white tiger and asked with a smile. Chapter 649. Crazy loot of the meteoric iron. Whether they could leave the hell of Avisnaraka alive all depended on the fiend celestial beast. That was the reason why the Blood Moon Elder was so concerned about it. Fuck, if she did not snatch 3/4 of the demonic energy, I would be able to last for at least 10 to 12 hours. Now, maybe 2 hours. The white tiger puffed. Yes, it's all her fault. Dear Master Fiend Celestial Beast, don't be angry. The Blood Moon Elder smiled. Yi Qingtang shot a look at the Blood Moon Elder. His sucking up skills had reached the peak level. Master Fiend Celestial Beast, don't be bothered by a young lady when we are all men. All men? The white tiger sized up the Blood Moon Elder. Before the Blood Moon Elder could say anything, Yi Qingtang went forward and kicked him. What did you say just now? Ha! Holy lady, don't be bothered by an animal. The Blood Moon Elder said softly. He tapped his butt and went forward immediately. Yi Qingtang stared blankly at him. The Blood Moon Elder was really skilled. No wonder he could take up the position as a Blood Moon Elder. She really looked down on him previously. Yi Qingtang did not bother to talk to the Blood Moon Elder. She looked up into the sky. As more and more cultivators died, more blood was rushing towards the third level. She stared at the staircase in midair and said, "We shall go to the third level to take a look." She disappeared from the place she was at in the next second. Yi Qingtang was on the staircase and climbing upwards after a short while. There were others from the super sects who wanted to climb up the staircase to reach the second or the third level previously. However, before they could take a few steps, they were attacked by the mutated flying beasts. They either fell off from the staircase or were torn into pieces. Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder who were climbing on the staircase also were not able to avoid the attacks. The ferocious flying beasts rushed towards the staircase from all directions. Yi Qingtang curled her lips and showed a cold smile. Though the number of these ferocious flying beasts was large, their abilities could only match with someone at the first heaven of the martial chi level 3, though some could reach the early stage of the second heaven. However, Yi Qingtang's martial ability had entered the peak stage of the third heaven of the martial chi level 3, which was known as a half-step yin-yang perfected lord. How could she be afraid of the mutated ferocious flying beasts? How dare you, weak bastards! Yi Qingtang shouted coldly as the numerous ferocious flying beasts rushing towards her. She flicked her palm, and rays of golden flames rose towards the sky. Any flying beast who was in contact with the golden flame was burned into ashes. Even those whose abilities matched with people at early stage of the second heaven of the martial chi level 3 standard did not dare to approach anymore. It seemed that the lady was a ferocious god from hell. Yi Qingtang hugged the white tiger and led the Blood Moon Elder on the staircase. It took them only a short while to arrive at the second level. Yi Qingtang overlooked the entire landscape of the second level on the staircase. The second level of the Land of Inheritance was formed by iron mountains. Millennium Meteoric Iron? Yi Qingtang was shocked by the scene. The Millennium Meteoric Iron was an extremely rare material. It was hard to find it on this land. When she was cultivating at the Falling Sky Valley in her previous life, her master always told her that his biggest wish was to find 5 kilograms of meteorite iron to forge a black-level divine weapon. Chapter 650. I'll keep for you based on Yi Qingtang's observations, there were at least a few million kilograms of the Millennium Meteoric Iron on the second level. Oh my God! The Blood Moon Elder exclaimed at the meteoric iron mountain below the staircase. During the prime of the Blood Moon sect 1,000 years ago, the amount of the Millennium Meteoric Iron in the sect was only around 10 kilograms. Swoosh! Yi Qingtang flew up and landed on the meteoric iron mountain in the next second. Yi Qingtang was very swift as she put all the scattered Millennium Meteoric Iron into her space ring until the entire space was full. Around 100 kilograms? It's a pity that the storage of my space ring is not enough, Yi Qingtang sighed. However, when she just turned over, she realized that the Blood Moon Elder was also continuously picking up and putting the Millennium Meteoric Iron into his space ring. Haha, I'm rich now. This is indeed the Land of Inheritance, ha. 100 kilograms of Millennium Meteoric Iron. The Blood Moon Elder stared at his space ring and laughed constantly. Give it to me. Yi Qingtang smiled and walked towards the Blood Moon Elder. The Blood Moon Elder was stunned. It's not safe on you. I'm stronger than you, so I'll keep it for you. If you need it, I'll return it to you. Yi Qingtang seemed to be caring for him. What? Don't you trust me? Yi Qingtang asked. You're such a disappointment. Yi Qingtang sighed. Holy lady, don't cheat me. The Blood Moon Elder had no choice but to give his space ring to Yi Qingtang. Why would I cheat you? It's just some rotten meteoric iron. I'll return it to you if you need it. Now, I'm keeping for you just in case. Yi Qingtang took over the space ring and comforted the Blood Moon Elder. Though her words seemed to be trustworthy, the Blood Moon Elder had the feeling that the 100 kilograms of meteorite iron would never be on his hand again, the Blood Moon Elder was not reconciled of his loss after passing his space ring to Yi Qingtang. He picked up another few kilograms of meteorite iron and placed them in his pockets before he felt satisfied. The few kilograms meteoric iron on you. Yi Qingtang stared at the Blood Moon Elder. Holy lady! They're too heavy. I shall keep them personally, the Blood Moon Elder said immediately. All right. But if you feel that they're too heavy, just give them to me and I'll keep for you. Fuck you. What's the point of fighting over the rotten iron? The white tiger's face was full of disdain. The Millennium Meteoric Iron was totally useless to Fiend's celestial beast. Soon, after collecting the Millennium Meteoric Iron, Yi Qingtang stepped onto the staircase again unwillingly and climbed towards the 3rd level. They finally reached the 3rd level after an hour. It was another small world on the 3rd level. There was a giant palace at the center. The blood of the dead cultivators from the 1st level was flying towards the palace. Weird energy turbulence came out from the palace. You stay here. I'll go take a look at the palace, Yi Qingtang said to the Blood Moon Elder. The dangers inside the palace were unknown. It would be hard for the Blood Moon Elder to protect himself as he was still at the peak stage of the 1st heaven of martial Qi level 3. The Blood Moon Elder understood Yi Qingtang's intention. He did not say anything and chose to wait at the place. Chapter 651. It's actually you? 1. Yi Qingtang disappeared and flew towards the palace instantly. The temperature in the palace was extremely low. There was a divine sword formed by frost floating in midair. The mysterious black-robed man was sitting under the divine sword. Countless drops of blood were traveling into the palace. They were all absorbed by the ice frost divine sword. Every time it absorbed blood, its energy was restored slightly. Yi Qingtang hid in the corner and stared at the ice frost divine sword. That's a heaven-level divine weapon. Yi Qingtang was appalled and could not believe what she saw. The heaven-level divine weapon only existed in tales and legends. There were almost no appearances of heaven-level divine weapons in the 1st domain. Even in her previous life when she became the Holy Venerate after 300 years, the divine weapon she had was just an earth-level divine weapon, which was below the heaven level. That's not right, Yi Qingtang shook her head secretly. Though the ice frost divine sword was of the heaven level, it did not seem to be in its complete form. Now, the most power it could show was similar to that of an earth-level divine weapon. However, despite that, it was astonishing. Young one, show yourself. Suddenly, the black-robed elderly who sat under the ice frost divine sword smiled and said. Yi Qingtang frowned as she heard the voice. She had hidden her martial aura, but she was still discovered. Your perception is really amazing, Yi Qingtang said. There was no point hiding anymore since she was discovered. Yi Qingtang walked out from the shadows immediately. Young one, you're indeed fascinating. The black-robed man stood up slowly and looked at Yi Qingtang, who was walking out from the dark. Senior, since we're here now, we should not hide anything. I guess it's you who is manipulating the hell of Avisnaraka. May I know what your intentions are? Yi Qingtang said and stared at the black-robed man. The black-robed man smiled coldly. That's right. I am controlling the 100-level peril hell of Avisnaraka. As for my intention, can't you see it? You want to resurrect the Ice Frost Divine Sword. However, this will require everyone's life here. Is that inappropriate? Yi Qingtang said. Actually, it did not bother Yi Qingtang at all when the black-robed man wanted to use others' blood to resurrect the Ice Frost Divine Sword. However, she was in the hell of Avisnaraka as well. She did not want to die for the Ice Frost Divine Sword. Everyone here has sinned. It's your honor to use your sinned blood to resurrect my Ice Frost Divine Sword. It's my mercy as well. Ooh, you're crazy. A glint flickered in Yi Qingtang's eyes. The black-robed man smiled softly. Yi Qingtang, you were able to survive till now in the hell of Avisnaraka, and be the only one who's able to step into my palace on the 3rd level. I'm very pleased. That's part of your effort as well. If you did not tell me about the space transfer talisman, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to last till now. So, Senior, I doubt that we know each other, right? Yi Qingtang said and looked at the black-robed man. Yi Qingtang, you're brave and smart. I liked you all this time. However, you shouldn't have entered the hell of Avisnaraka. The black-robed man shook his head and sighed softly. Who are you? Can you reveal your true identity? Yi Qingtang asked. Who I am? That's not important. Yi Qingtang, I'll give you a chance. Leave the fiend celestial beast and leave this piece of land alone, the black-robed man said. The black-robed man stared at Yi Qingtang with his eyes that were shown and explained his offer. Bullshit. We did not even meet before, and I don't owe you anything. Fuck you. Why do you want to leave me here? The white tiger shouted in rage. The black-robed man did not respond to the white tiger. He was just staring at Yi Qingtang and seemed to be waiting for her answer. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. After a short while, Yi Qingtang's face was calm, and she said slowly, I'm curious. Why do you want me to leave this piece of land? Yi Qingtang, do you want to know the reason? The black-robed man sneered. I'll listen to the story. Yi Qingtang nodded. It's because this piece of land is full of sin. It needs to be destroyed. However, I'm willing to offer you a chance to live. Leave this land alone. Are you willing to accept my offer? The black-robed man said. After hearing the black-robed man's words, Yi Qingtang sneered. My parents and my siblings all live on this mainland. However, you want to kill all of them now and still ask me whether I'll accept your offer. Don't you think it's pretty ridiculous? So, you do not accept. The black-robed man's voice was full of disappointment. The fiend's celestial beast had signed the equality contract with me, so I will not leave it here. As for this mainland, no one dares to destroy it. Yi Qingtang said firmly. Then we can only be enemies. The black-robed man sighed. It seems that we will never be friends. Yi Qingtang's lips curled. The black-robed man stood up slowly from the ground and swiped the dust on his clothes. Yi Qingtang, before you make your final decision, let me tell you a story first, the black-robed man said and looked at Yi Qingtang. Yi Qingtang could not tell the martial aura of the black-robed man. Thus, she did not rush to attack. This mainland was just a small island in the past. There was a lady who came from the Central Dynasty, and she used her own spiritual abode to form the mainland. She led the ancestors of the people here now to live on the mainland and taught them the higher levels of martial culture. Thus, there were many loyal followers of her. However, things changed. The lattice strength was almost all used up as a result of forming the mainland. The greedy ancestors hurt the lady to acquire her last bit of energy. So, tell me, do you think the people on this mainland deserve to die? Yi Qingtang had heard of the story from the white tiger before, so she did not have any feelings. No matter how many sins our ancestors had in the past, they're already dead. This has nothing to do with their descendants. Furthermore, not every cultivator took a part of that. Most of them are innocent. Yi Qingtang rebutted. Everyone on the mainland here shares the bloodline of the ancestors. So, no one is innocent. The black-robed man chuckled and shook his head. Just now you said there were a few loyal followers of the lady. So, are you a descendant of one of those followers? Yi Qingtang probed. However, the black-robed man did not seem to hide anything. He nodded and confessed. That's right. My ancestor was the loyal follower of the lady, and it does not change to my generation. I understand already. Yi Qingtang nodded as she looked at the black-robed person. There would never be a conclusion if one were to debate over the right and wrong on this matter. As a loyal follower of that extraordinary lady, the black-robed person wanted to avenge her, and there was nothing wrong with this. If it were Yi Qingtang, she might not be any better than the black-robed person. However, from another point of view, the predecessors who schemed against the extraordinary lady were almost all dead as time passed, and the people living on this mainland presently did not do anything wrong. Yi Qingtang's foster father and everyone in the Yi family clan grew up in this mainland. Should they all die to return the blood debt of those damn predecessors whom they did not even know? Who was right and who was wrong? The right and wrong could no longer be judged. From the black-robed person's point of view, there was indeed nothing wrong about seeking revenge. On the other hand, There was all the more nothing wrong with Yi Qingtang wanting to protect her foster father, the Yi family clan, Xianling sect, and even Falling Sky Valley. Currently, arguing about right and wrong was out of the question, and they were only fighting for their beliefs. Actually, I'm very curious about how you can control this mystic realm, Yi Qingtang said. Normally, only the owners of mystic realms could control the mystic realm, but this black-robed person was merely a follower of that extraordinary lady. How could he open this 100-level peril hell of a Vincenarica mystic realm? Yi Qingtang. The black-robed person shook his head and sighed. You have too many questions. Since we are destined to be enemies, there's nothing much to say anymore. Fuck you. All of a sudden, the little white tiger shouted at the black-robed person. Before that extraordinary lady died, she used the dimension wall to protect this mainland, which shows that she does not blame those who caused her death. As the descendant of a follower, what are you blindly worried over? If you have this extra time and energy, slaughter 2 cows and a few lambs and rest at home while savoring some wine. Shut up. After hearing what the little white tiger said, the black-robed person was infuriated. Fuck you. How dare you talk so fiercely to me? The little white tiger revealed its pearly white, sharp teeth. I'll kill you. Really? The black-robed person laughed coldly. As a fiend celestial beast, why don't you come and try? Fuck you. Provoked, the little white tiger immediately told Yi Qingtang. Put me down. If I don't kill him today, I'll go and eat 50. Seeing that the little white tiger was really enraged, Yi Qingtang casually threw it to the ground. However, there was still no trace of change in the little white tiger after some time. Change, Yi Qingtang said with a frown. Wait. The little white tiger looked around the place and suddenly scolded loudly. There is an array formation bound here. The demonic aura in my body is suppressed. I can't use it. Yi Qingtang stared blankly at the little white tiger. Ha! The black-robed person laughed coldly. You could only transform in the first place not because of your own powers but because of the demonic aura that you plundered from the hell of a Vincenarica mystic realm. Actually, there's no array formation. It's just that this 3rd level is special as it isolates the energy of the demonic aura. Fuck you. I was joking with you just now. The little white tiger said and looked at Yi Qingtang subsequently. Oh right. I suddenly recalled that I still have some matters to settle. I'll leave first. However, the moment it spoke, the little white tiger was carried into Yi Qingtang's arms. Die! The black-robed person bellowed sternly. He turned into a black shadow and skimmed towards Yi Qingtang immediately. Swoosh! As the black-robed person slapped a hand out, a terrifying martial aura was instantly released like a rapid torrent, and it could not be countered. After sensing the martial aura of the black-robed person, Yi Qingtang was slightly stunned. This black-robed person was extremely powerful and had already entered the Yin-Yang perfected Lord state. Fortunately, the elderly skills were only at the Yin Lord state of the Yin-Yang perfected Lord state and was at the first heaven of Yin Lord. If Yi Qingtang had not absorbed the demonic aura from the black ball and hastily fought with the black-robed person, she would probably have been easily killed within 10 moves. However, the current Yi Qingtang had also become a half-step Yin-Yang perfected Lord. With the mental state and experience of a holy venerate in her previous life, she had no fear even if she faced an ordinary Yin Lord. As the black-robed person landed an extremely powerful slap, Yi Qingtang did not retreat and charged forward instead. She raised her palm and slapped it out at the black-robed person as well. Boom! Boom! In the next second, a thunderous explosion rang in the palace. An invisible hurricane gushed in the surroundings with a horrifying sound. Fuck you! The little white tiger in Yi Qingtang's arms initially peeked its head out to take a look. However, the force of the impact of the slap caused the little white tiger to be flung out from Yi Qingtang's arms. In the next second, both Yi Qingtang and the black-robed person retreated several steps. You! The black-robed person steadied himself and looked at Yi Qingtang in extreme shock. This girl had actually raised her martial skills to half-step Yin-Yang perfected Lord in such a short amount of time. How exactly did she do it? No matter what encounters a cultivator had, they still needed to correspond and be compatible with their mental state. If an ordinary martial chi level 1 cultivator obtained a powerful destiny and leaped into the yin-yang perfected lord state, the overly fast advancement in cultivation state would result in frightening mental demons due to the incompatibility between one's mental state and martial skills. As a result, it would be easy to have chi deviation, and it could ruin the cultivator's foundation, causing all of their cultivation to be abolished. They might even drop dead on the spot if serious. The logic was very simple. Suddenly obtaining the skills of a yin-yang perfected lord without the mental state of a yin-yang perfected lord would cause an unforeseen accident. However, Yi Qingtang was a holy venerate in her previous life, and her mental state was that of a holy venerate. No matter how fast her skills advanced, it did not matter even if she returned to her peak state as a holy venerate in a night. However, the black-robed person knew none of that. Yi Qingtang, you're really a talented genius? If you can leave this mainland and properly cultivate, you will definitely become a true powerful figure one day. However, you chose to protect the source of this mainland sin. The black-robed person sighed as he looked at Yi Qingtang. Protect the source of sin? Yi Qingtang laughed coldly. I am not as noble as you said. I'm only protecting my family, martial siblings, and masters. What had the lives and deaths of others got to do with her? Even if this black-robed person killed all living things in the world, it had not a slight thing to do with Yi Qingtang. However, if it implicated her family and friends, Yi Qingtang would stop it no matter the price. Even if she would fall into the lowest level of hell for eternity, she would turn into an evil spirit, crawl out from hell, and pull those people under the ground. Yi Qingtang, you're still so stubborn. I wanted to spare your life, but you wanted to court death. Don't blame me then. A cold glint flashed across the black-robed person's eyes. Chapter 655. It's actually you? 5. The black-robed person charged towards Yi Qingtang once again, wanting to take her life. Yi Qingtang advanced as well and entered a brawl with the black-robed person. Both of them exchanged blows. If it were other ordinary cultivators, they would have long died. Fuck you! Suddenly, the little white tiger leaped up and bit the black-robed person's calf. Even if the current little white tiger could not use the stored demonic force in its body and had almost no combat power, it was, after all, a fiend celestial beast. Its fangs were parallel to a divine weapon and could easily pierce through metal. Fuck you! I'm biting you to death! As the little white tiger spoke, it bit down again. Its sharp teeth pierced into the black-robed person's calf, and blood oozed out instantly. The black-robed person scoffed coldly and used the impact of his martial aura to throw the little white tiger several meters away. However, the little white tiger had thick skin as a fiend celestial beast and ran back quickly. Fuck you! I have thick skin and can endure beatings. Even if it's a young lord, I can also let him hammer me a few times, much less a yin lord like you. Afterward, the little white tiger opened its mouth and charged toward the black-robed person. This time, however, it was already kicked away by the black-robed person before it could touch him. Are you all right? Yi Qingtang's brows were slightly furrowed as she looked at the little white tiger that was flung away. That black-robed person was, after all, a yin-yang perfected lord, and his skills were undoubted. Even if the little white tiger was a fiend celestial beast, it probably did not feel good to be beaten a few times. Fuck you! The little white tiger crawled up from the ground staggeringly and stared at Yi Qingtang. What do you mean? Are you looking down on me? You should ask whether his leg that kicked me is all right. Yi Qingtang stared blankly at the little white tiger. It'll kill you. Suddenly enraged, the black-robed person walked toward the little white tiger. Wait! The little white tiger's hair stood up all over. Big brother of the human clan, I was wrong. I still have something on. You all can fight first. After leaving that sentence, the little white tiger turned around and vanished without a trace. It had been chased for years in the outside world, and its fleeing abilities were already at the peak of perfection. Yi Qingtang, if you awaken to your senses now, I still can consider sparing your life. The black-robed person looked at Yi Qingtang once again after watching the little white tiger escape. It's not that I'm not awakening to my senses. It's that you're too obstinate to be awakened, Yi Qingtang said with a calm expression. Ah. Yi Qingtang, no matter what you do, the ending of this mainland has already been fixed. No one will be spared. Everyone will die. The black-robed person laughed coldly. Given your skills, it is simply delusional if you wish to destroy this mainland. Or does this have to do with the dimension wall? Yi Qingtang spoke slowly while looking at the black-robed person. Given the black-robed person's skills at the first heaven of Yin-Yang Perfected Lord, how could he destroy this mainland? The only thing that Yi Qingtang could think of was the dimension wall that the little white tiger mentioned previously. After hearing Yi Qingtang mention the dimension wall, there was an evident change in that black-robed person's voice. That fiend celestial beast actually told you about the dimension wall as well? Originally, Yi Qingtang guessed that perhaps this black-robed person wished to use the blood of the thousands of cultivators in the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm as a sacrifice to that Ice Frost divine sword. But even if the Ice Frost divine sword resurrected, it was impossible to destroy a mainland if there was no corresponding level of skills. As such, Yi Qingtang started to suspect the dimension wall. If the dimension wall was damaged or disappeared, powerful figures from the outside world could easily come into here. However, Yi Qingtang could not understand something. Even if the dimension wall disappeared, why would cultivators from the outside world come back to this mainland to incite trouble for no reason? What I know is that before that extraordinary lady died, she used her last trace of energy and turned it into a dimension wall. That so-called dimension wall was to prevent powerful figures from the outside world to intrude and plunder. Hence, I guess that you attracted everyone into the mystic realm to use their blood to resurrect this Ice Frost divine sword and use its power to destroy the dimension wall. Am I right? Yi Qingtang probed. The black-robed person remained silent for a moment after listening to Yi Qingtang. He finally smiled in reply. Yi Qingtang, you're really very smart. You formed a rather complete clue just from a few messy pieces of information. You're right. Attracting those cultivators into the mystic realm was merely to use their blood to resurrect the Ice Frost divine sword. Once it is resurrected, it can easily destroy the dimension wall. By then, powerful figures would come and completely destroy this mainland. Innocent. Yi Qingtang laughed coldly. This mainland's martial culture is backward, and more so, one's skills would be restricted to the Yin-Yang Perfected Lord state when they come here no matter how powerful they are because of the thin spirit energy. Since that's the case, why would powerful figures take such a risk to come and destroy this mainland? If Yi Qingtang was a powerful figure from the outside world, she would definitely not head to a mainland with thin spirit energy and a backward martial culture. Yi Qingtang, it's you who are too innocent. The black-robed person said. That lattice body possessed a special bloodline, and her spiritual abode is extremely precious. The lattice identity was the daughter of an ancient clan's clan master in the central mainland. The special bloodline of that lady bred greed in the hearts of those clan members, resulting in a rebellion. They killed the lattice parents and wanted to obtain that lattice divine weapon. Afterward, although the lady fled away from the central mainland, those ancient clan rebels still searched for her in the surroundings and have not given up even now. If the dimension wall is broken and those rebels feel the aura of the lattice spiritual abode, do you think those ancient clan rebels would let off this mainland which was transformed by the lattice spiritual abode? Yi Qingtang was stunned after hearing the black-robed person speak. If it was really as the black-robed person had said, the rebels from the extraordinary lattice clan in the central mainland would definitely come to destroy this mainland and claim the extraordinary lattice spiritual abode. Who truly calculated this well? Yi Qingtang's eyes were cold. Thus, the fate of this mainland has already been decided. The black-robed person replied. That may not be so. Yi Qingtang shook her head. If the Ice Frost Divine Sword is unable to resurrect, or the Ice Frost Divine Sword is not in your hands, you will not be able to destroy the dimension wall. The black-robed person was taken aback for an instant after hearing Yi Qingtang and instinctively turned around to look at the Ice Frost Divine Sword behind him. However, the Ice Frost Divine Sword had already disappeared from its original location. All he saw was that the fiend's celestial beast had held the Ice Frost divine sword in its mouth from some time ago. "How dare you!" After noticing the situation, the black-robed person was enraged and chased after the little white tiger immediately. Swoosh! At the same time, a blood-colored sword aura slashed out and forced the black-robed person, who was cornering the little white tiger, to retreat. In the next second, the little white tiger strutted to Yi Qingtang's side with the Ice Frost divine sword in its mouth and threw it near her feet. Chapter 657. It's actually you, 7. Yi Qingtang kept the demonic blood sword in its sheath once again and bent down to pick up the Ice Frost divine sword. The moment her hands touched it, she was attacked by a coldness which caused her mind to be slightly dazed. Yi Qingtang immediately used her primordial qi to isolate this coldness, and her complexion finally turned slightly better. "You!" The black-robed person glared at Yi Qingtang furiously. "It's you who is too careless." Yi Qingtang's lips curled up slightly as she held the Ice Frost divine sword. "I've signed an equality contract with this fiend's celestial beast, and we can communicate within our hearts. But you saw that it was an infant and never paid any attention to it. If you could be more cautious, even if it was just to be on your guard against this seemingly useless fiend celestial beast, I would not have obtained this Ice Frost divine sword so easily. Give it to me." The black-robed person stretched a hand out to Yi Qingtang. "Ah!" Yi Qingtang chuckled. "Come and take it yourself if you want it." Then, the black-robed person indeed walked towards Yi Qingtang in large strides. However, Yi Qingtang waved the Ice Frost divine sword in her hand before he neared her. In an instant, an extremely terrifying force of the Ice Frost froze the entire hall. Had the black-robed person not dodged in time, he would have ended up like this palace. "Yi Qingtang, do you think that the Ice Frost divine sword belongs to you now that you obtained it?" The black-robed person asked. "No matter whether it belongs to me or not, it definitely does not belong to you at this moment." Yi Qingtang scoffed coldly. Before waiting for the black-robed person to say anything again, Yi Qingtang waved the Ice Frost divine sword and flew towards him. Although the Ice Frost divine sword was not yet resurrected, it was an authentic heaven-grade divine weapon as in the legends, and the force of one strike was extremely frightening. Facing Yi Qingtang, who wielded the Ice Frost divine sword, the black-robed person could only dodge and did not dare to fight head-on. "Yi Qingtang, why must you protect the sinners of this mainland?" The black-robed person inquired in a cold tone. "You're a coward who bullies the weak and is afraid of the powerful." Yi Qingtang scoffed as she chased after the black-robed person. "What did you say?" The black-robed person hollered in fury. "If you were true enough to that lady, what you should do is head to the central mainland and annihilate that ancient clan which mutinied. You should not think of how to destroy this mainland. If the dimension wall is really broken, powerful figures from that ancient clan would be attracted here. They would destroy this mainland and obtain the lattice spiritual abode. Is this really what you wish to see? Those people are the ones who killed her clan and family, caused her to be homeless, and forced her to leave the central mainland. Are you loyal or disloyal?" The black-robed person was dumbfounded. Yi Qingtang's words seemed to have poured cold water on him. Previously, he only thought that it was the people on this mainland who killed the lady. Thus, he wanted to seek revenge by using blood and misery to cleanse this mainland. However, if that ancient clan obtained the lattice spiritual abode. Swoosh! At this moment of trance, Yi Qingtang had already neared the black-robed person. Yi Qingtang clutched onto his black robe, exerted force in her palms, and threw the black robe off. However, after seeing the face of the black-robed person, Yi Qingtang's eyes suddenly dilated. She was in extreme disbelief. This was a face that Yi Qingtang was extremely familiar with, yet it appeared especially foreign right now. Never had she expected that the black-robed person would actually be him. "How can it be? Why is it you?" Yi Qingtang took several steps back, unwilling to believe this reality. Chapter 658. It's actually you, 8. Yi Qingtang was in utter disbelief as she stared at the black-robed person before her. She had thought of everyone, but she never thought that it would actually be him. "Qingtang, it's been a long time. the elderly said gently with a smile. I did not expect it to actually be you, Grand Elder. Yi Qingtang's heart was rather complicated as she looked at that familiar face. This black-robed person was none other than Xianling Sect's Grand Elder. Qingtang, you still found out eventually. Venerable Wu smiled after remaining silent for a moment. I should have realized a long time ago. Yi Qingtang looked at the Grand Elder and continued. Back when I pretended to be Blood Moon Sect's guardian, you exposed my identity with one sentence. Initially, I thought that you accidentally let it slip, but thinking about it now, I'm afraid you did it deliberately. Grand Elder, the annihilation of Xianling Sect should also be part of your plan, right? Yi Qingtang added. The Grand Elder did not deny it. Qingtang, you're a really big wild card. Actually, according to the original plan, the Hell of Avisnarak would only start a few years later. However, you exposed Fu Lingshan's identity and caused him to drag Ning Luo in. Thus, the annihilation of the sect had to be brought forward. Grand Elder, you're truly evil. You sacrificed so many innocent lives from Xianling Sect just for this so-called plan. Yi Qingtang said angrily. Only by making Yunshao Sect aware that Xianling Sect knows of their scheme in seizing others' spirit roots would they want to silence Xianling Sect. And only when Xianling Sect is annihilated would the inheritance mystic realm that belongs solely to Xianling Sect become an ownerless mystic realm. This will allow everyone to let down their guard and enter the 100-level peril hell of Avinsanarika defenseless. Grand Elder, you calculated and schemed this really well. The Grand Elder laughed coldly. You still barely saved Xianling Sect. That's right. Yi Qingtang said and nodded. I pretended to be a Blood Moon Guardian and brought the Blood Moon Sect members to the sect. I originally hoped that it could resolve the sect's crisis, but you exposed my identity at the most inappropriate timing. Everything you did is for the events to happen according to your plan. Qingtang, you're indeed very intelligent. Venerable Wu nodded and seemed to be rather gratified. Never had I expected that the person who caused Xianling Sect to be annihilated to be you, Xianling Sect's Grand Elder. I wish to ask, when you saw those Xianling Sect disciples who willingly gave up their lives in order to protect the sect, did your ruthless heart ache? After hearing Yi Qingtang's words, the Grand Elder was slightly taken aback. His calm eyes, however, had some fluctuations. The scene from that day still lingered in the mind. It was as though he could still hear the screams of those hot-blooded boys. Grand Elder, you used Xianling Sect's blood for your ruthless plan. Does your heart really not hurt? Yi Qingtang asked. Qingtang, don't say any more rubbish. The Grand Elder waved a hand and interrupted her. I have been in Xianling Sect since I was 7. I've been Xianling Sect's sect master and subsequently the Grand Elder. No one would have deeper feelings for Xianling Sect than me. However, this mainland will be destroyed sooner or later. Why not, then, make Xianling Sect's destruction be more meaningful? Chapter 659. Who are you, one? After hearing the Grand Elder's words, Yi Qingtang shook her head. Venerable Wu was still too obstinate to be awakened up now. Qingtang, some things have already been decided a long time ago. My ancestors pledged loyalty to that lady, and it is still the same way for me. This mainland is filled with sin. It must be destroyed. As for the central ancient clan that you said, we also have a plan, the Grand Elder said calmly. We? Yi Qingtang scanned Venerable Wu in thought. In the we that you said, one of them should be Ning Luo, right? Oh. The Grand Elder was slightly taken aback but did not deny it either. How did you tell? I did not suspect him much previously, but connecting the dots now, it must definitely be related to Ning Luo, Yi Qingtang said. Fu Lingtian was a spy and was brought back to Xianling Sect while Ning Luo was also a Yunshao Sect spy. According to logic, there should not be any conflict between intruding into the Hall of Justice to kill Fu Lingtian and leaving the sect. However, since he had already silenced Fu Lingtian, why must he flee Xianling Sect? Ultimately, it is to aggravate the conflict between the two sections. Thinking about it now, there were too many clues. For example, when Ning Luo's senior brother and senior sister rescued him, The Grand Elder completely had the ability to stop the three of them from leaving yet did not choose to do so. So, Ning Luo is also a follower of that extraordinary lady, or is he one of your descendants? Yi Qingtang asked. However, Venerable Wu shook his head. It is not a lie that Ning Luo calls me grandfather. However, there are no blood ties between me and Ning Luo, and he is not the descendant of a follower either. Since that's the case, what is Ning Luo's objective? Yi Qingtang pursued. If the Grand Elder was the descendant of a follower and schemed this for so long, she still could understand. But what was Ning Luo doing it for? The Grand Elder shook his head and said, Qingning, there's no meaning in knowing all of this. With things as such, Yi Qingtang did not utter a word further. She had never thought that she would actually fight with Venerable Wu, even to the point of fighting to their last breaths. Since that's the case, let's fight then. Wielding the Ice Frost Divine Sword, Yi Qingtang looked at Venerable Wu. Clink. Venerable Wu unsheathed a sword. Swoosh. In the next second, both of them rose into the sky. Venerable Wu's skills were at the first heaven of Yin Yang Perfected Lord. Although he was half a state higher than Yi Qingtang, it was extremely difficult for him to defeat Yi Qingtang without the Ice Frost Divine Sword. Furthermore, the current Yi Qingtang held the Ice Frost Divine Sword, and thus, Venerable Wu was not Yi Qingtang's opponent. In just 10 or so moves, Venerable Wu was already injured by Yi Qingtang with the Ice Frost Divine Sword. A layer of icy frost extended on Venerable Wu's wound. Venerable Wu, if you repent in time, I will treat it as though I've never seen you. Yi Qingtang said with a frown as she looked at Venerable Wu, who was frozen by the Ice Frost Divine Sword. In Xianling sect, Venerable Wu indeed cared a lot for her. Even in this hell of a Visanaraka mystic realm, he turned into the black-robed person and still saved her using other methods. Yi Qingtang did not wish to do anything to the Grand Elder, but the pretext was that he could let go of the grudge and stop thinking of destroying this mainland. The icy frost on Venerable Wu's wound continued to spread. In just a short while, half of his body was already sealed in the frost. Qingtang, Venerable Wu said and looked at Yi Qingtang. There is a good saying, legitimacy belongs to the victor. Chapter 660. Who are you, too? Venerable Wu's lips curled up slightly. A faint smile emerged on his face as he looked at Yi Qingtang. Actually, I forcefully advanced to Yin Yang Perfected Lord from the peak of the third heaven of Martial Qi Level 3, which caused mental demons. I don't have much time left. However, I am very gratified to witness your growth in my last moments. Qingtang, you are Xianling sect's pride. He shook his head and continued. I really miss the times we refined weapons in Xianling sect. As Venerable Wu finished his sentence, he turned into a ball of bloody fog and instantly surged into the Ice Frost Divine Sword in Yi Qingtang's hands. Grand Elder. Yi Qingtang's brows were slightly furrowed. Venerable Wu forcefully advanced his cultivation state, which damaged his veins. He already had serious internal injuries, and after being wounded by the Ice Frost Divine Sword through their battle, nothing could be done to save him. Boom. Without giving time for Yi Qingtang to think further, the palace suddenly shook. The Ice Frost Divine Sword deviated from its initial location. The third level is about to collapse. The little white tiger said hurriedly. After hearing that, Yi Qingtang immediately grabbed the little white tiger and fled away from the palace. Seeing Yi Qingtang from afar, the Blood Moon Elder rushed forward hurriedly. Holy Lady, what happened? The Blood Moon Elder scanned Yi Qingtang and asked. Leave this place first. Yi Qingtang could not be bothered to say any useless crap to the Blood Moon Elder. Since she had already obtained the Ice Frost Divine Sword, the dimension wall would not be broken, and the pressing matter was to leave the third level first. Very quickly, the Blood Moon Elder followed Yi Qingtang and returned to the first level. It was a boundless zone of ice. Currently, the number of surviving cultivators in the first level was already less than 1/3 of the original number. Yi Qingtang, you're indeed a huge wild card. When they reached the first level, they saw a Buddha statue moving with a young male on its shoulder. The good-looking male was dressed in white, and his eyes landed right on Yi Qingtang. Ning Luo? Yi Qingtang frowned slightly as she looked at the male standing on the Buddha statue. What exactly was Ning Luo's identity for him to be able to control the fierce creatures in the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm? The demonized Buddha statue in front of them was extremely powerful, and one could not tell its exact level of skills. Its aura was even more terrifying than that of the previous Buddha statue in the blood-colored city. Yi Qingning, perhaps I was too kind then? Ning Luo shook his head. This matter has nothing to do with you originally, but you had to intervene in it. Ning Luo, who are you? What do you want? Yi Qingtang asked with a calm expression. What do I want? Ning Luo scoffed. Naturally, it is to kill all of the sinners on this mainland. Who exactly are you? Yi Qingtang was rather confused. Who I am is not important. Ning Luo shook his head, seeming to be unwilling to resolve Yi Qingtang's confusion. According to what Venerable Wu said, Ning Luo was not a descendant of a follower, yet why? Return the sword to me. Ning Luo did not answer Yi Qingtang's question and instead looked at the Ice Frost divine sword in her hands. Ah! Yi Qingtang sneered coldly. This sword is mine. Why should I give it to you? This sword is yours? Ning Luo's face was emotionless as he stared at Yi Qingtang. Why haven't I heard about that? Before Yi Qingtang could say anything else, the Ice Frost divine sword flew out of her hands instantly. When Yi Qingtang returned to her senses, the Ice Frost divine sword was already in Ning Luo's hands. Chapter 661. Who are you? 3. Yi Qingtang looked down in shock at her empty hand which previously held the Ice Frost divine sword. The Ice Frost divine sword was actually taken away by Ning Luo without her sensing anything. Even more so, Yi Qingtang did not discover Ning Luo making any movements. It was as though the Ice Frost divine sword flew into Ning Luo's hand by itself. Ning Luo, who on earth are you exactly? Yi Qingtang asked with a low voice as she looked at the male on the Buddha statue. Yi Qingtang could not gauge Ning Luo's level of skills. She could not even sense any breath when she scanned him carefully. Who I am is not important to you. Ning Luo looked at Yi Qingtang without any emotions. There is a bloodline on your body that I miss. This is also the reason why I did not kill you back then. Bloodline? Yi Qingtang was in thought. Are you saying the immortal and Buddha bloodline? The so-called immortal and Buddha bloodline is merely a concept used by the descendants in general. All the bloodlines of the fourth domain belong to the immortal and Buddha bloodline. The bloodline of you and her are both from the fourth domain. Ning Luo's eyes were distant, seeming to be recalling the past memories. Oh! Yi Qingtang was dazed. Regardless of her previous or current life, Yi Qingtang did not have much understanding about the fourth domain. Yi Qingtang originally thought that the so-called immortal and Buddha bloodline was merely a general designation of the bloodline from the fourth domain. As for whether she and that extraordinary lady shared the same type of bloodline from the fourth domain, it was still unknown. It seems that you already know about her from either the fiend celestial beast or grandfather. Ning Luo smiled faintly at Yi Qingtang. What did you mention me for? Since you know that I'm a fiend celestial beast, hurry up and bow in respect. Give me whatever good thing you have. I see that the Ice Frost divine sword in your hand seems to not be bad. After hearing that someone mention it, the little white tiger suddenly peeked its head out from Yi Qingtang's arms and uttered arrogantly. However, the moment the little white tiger spoke, the surrounding temperature dropped abruptly, and the Ice Frost divine sword let out a sword cry for some reason. Noticing the situation, the little white tiger took a look at the Ice Frost divine sword first and then at Ning Luo. You're unhappy after I said a few sentences? If you're unhappy, then treat it as though I did not say anything. Yi Qingtang pinched her glabella upon hearing that. She had no idea what to say to this fiend celestial beast anymore. Impudent. Suddenly, the Blood Moon Elder took a step forward and stood in front of Ning Luo. How dare you speak to my Blood Moon Sect's holy lady like this? You get lost. Ning Luo shouted coldly. At the same time, the demonized Buddha statue beneath Ning Luo opened its enraged eyes. It looked at the Blood Moon Elder and rammed a punch out. Before the punch even landed, the air pressure of the punch already blew the Blood Moon Elder several dozens of meters away. Holy Lady, that demonized Buddha statue is too powerful. It's even more powerful than the one in the blood-colored city. Alarmed, the Blood Moon Elder warned Yi Qingtang frantically. After hearing it, Yi Qingtang had a grave expression, and she looked at the little white tiger in her arms. Fuck you. Don't look at me. I can't. The little white tiger shook its head hurriedly. This is no longer the third level. Yi Qingtang reminded. Not the third level? Meaning? The little white tiger looked at Yi Qingtang, baffled. It means that you can use the demonic aura stored in your body already, Yi Qingtang sighed. Chapter 662. Who are you for? The little white tiger was in a daze for a few seconds. After returning to its senses, it had a shaken expression. Right. This isn't the third level. It cannot suppress my demonic aura anymore. The little white tiger was delighted and looked at Ning Luo. Fellow, you're very arrogant and conceited. How dare you speak to me like that just now? Do you know that I am very angry now? The consequences of making me angry are very serious. Your outcome will be extremely tragic. The familiar arrogant expression emerged on the little white tiger's face again. Roar! The demonized Buddha statue beneath Ning Luo roared angrily. It lifted its feet and wanted to step on the little white tiger. In the next second, the little white tiger jumped out from Yi Qingtang's arms. When it landed on the ground, its body had already grown to a size of over 10 meters. It had a commanding expression as though he was the king of this world. With an angry roar, the white tiger launched its huge body at the demonized Buddha statue instantly. As the two enormous creatures clashed, an earth-shattering sound erupted, draining one of all color. At that instant, more and more cultivators rushed over, wanting to know what happened at this ice field. Before long, numerous powerful figures from super sects arrived at the first moment. That is, Ning Luo? One of the Yunshao sect wardens was shocked when he saw the man on the Buddha statue. Why was their Yunshao sect disciple, Ning Luo, standing on this dangerous creature in the hell of a Visnaraka mystic realm? Fiend celestial beast. Other super sects figures took notice of the white tiger quickly and were astonished. And that Xianling sect disciple, Yi Qingtang? Could it be that what the black-robed person said is true? Yi Qingtang from a mere small sect really subdued the white tiger in the hell of a Visnaraka mystic realm. The forces from the formidable Heavens dynasty and Nine Knights dynasty started buzzing immediately. Ning Luo, kill Yi Qingtang and snatch that fiend celestial beast over. If you can do it, that is making a huge contribution to the sect. Although the Yunshao sect warden was unclear how Ning Luo could control the demonized Buddha statue, evidently he did not think too much about it. After hearing that, Ning Luo, who was on the demonized Buddha statue, flashed a faint devilish smile. After the demonized Buddha statue forced the white tiger to retreat after a punch, it dashed to the Yunshao sect warden's side at the fastest speed. Ning Luo, what are you doing? Seeing that Ning Luo controlled the demonized Buddha statue to be hostile, the Yunshao sect warden was shocked. It had already been some time since they entered this hell of a Visnaraka mystic realm, and naturally, they had witnessed the demonized Buddha statue's horrifying powers. The youngest internal sect elder of their Yunshao sect was killed by the demonized Buddha statue in the blood-colored city some time ago. Ning Luo had an aloof expression as he looked at the Yunshao sect warden as if he was looking at an ant. Before waiting for the Yunshao sect warden to say anything, the demonized Buddha statue roared furiously and hammered the Vajra down instantly. Boom boom. All everyone saw was that the Yunshao sect warden was hammered by the Vajra. Afterward, his entire body turned into a bloody fog and was absorbed by the ice frost divine sword in Ning Luo's hand. Senior brother Ning, what are you doing? Ning Luo, how dare you kill a sect warden? Ning Luo, could it be that you wish to rebel? The Yunshao sect disciples shouted sternly when they saw the warden being killed. However, as these Yunshao sect disciples finished speaking, they were each smashed by the demonic Buddha statue with a punch. Chapter 663. Who are you? 5. After the few Yunshao sect disciples died, they turned into bloody fog and were absorbed by Ning Luo's sword. At this moment, the Yunshao sect wardens and disciples who rushed over were all killed by the demonic Buddha statue. Almost all the remaining forces were from the Nine Knights dynasty. Once the remaining Yunshao sect forces saw Ning Luo's actions, they did not dare to go near him and stayed clear of him. Since they could become high-ranking executives and disciples of a super sect, they were no fools. They could analyze the situation before them very quickly, and many people from Yunshao sect began to suspect if Ning Luo was that mysterious black-robed person or if he was in the same gang as him. Run! Yi Qingtang reminded after glancing at the forces from Falling Sky Valley and other forces from the Nine Knights dynasty behind her. The more people Ning Luo killed, the faster the Ice Frost Divine Sword in his hand resurrected. Once the Ice Frost Divine Sword was completely awakened, the dimension wall protecting this mainland would probably be destroyed by the Ice Frost Divine Sword. By then, the consequences would be unthinkable. Run! A certain warden from Falling Sky Valley returned to his senses and shouted. Then he fled in the other direction immediately. Since you're here, how can you leave? Ning Luo laughed coldly and slashed the Ice Frost Divine Sword across subsequently. Swoosh! An indescribable coldness was slashed out from Ning Luo's Ice Frost Divine Sword. In an instant, several powerful figures who were fleeing away turned into icy frost successively. At the same time, the Vajra in the demonized Buddha statue swept out and crushed those frosty figures. The dead people turned into blood fog and surged into the Ice Frost Divine Sword. Yi Qingtang was astonished to witness this sight. Ning Luo could actually control the Ice Frost Divine Sword so skillfully. How could this be? To control such a divine weapon, one's skills had to be compatible. Otherwise, there was no use at all. Even if it was the Yi Qingtang who was at her peak in the previous lifetime, she might not be able to control a heaven-grade divine weapon so perfectly with her holy venerate skills. Speaking in another way, unless Ning Luo possessed skills of a holy venerate, there was no way this could happen at all. However, Yi Qingtang would not believe that Ning Luo was a holy venerate figure. If Ning Luo's skills could rival a holy venerate's, he did not need to go through such trouble to destroy this mainland, as he could easily cause this mainland to vanish without a trace with the raise of a hand. How dare a mere creature produced by the hell of a Visanaraka mystic realm disregard me? The white tiger hollered in fury and launched its body towards the demonized Buddha statue once again. Almost at the same time, the demonized Buddha statue and the white tiger were entangled in a brawl while Ning Luo gently leaped down from the demonized Buddha statue. While this demonized Buddha statue was powerful, it was unable to continue to be on a rampage without rival once it met a grown fiend celestial beast. Although the demonized Buddha statue's combat power was similar to the white tiger's, its defense was weaker than the fiend celestial beast. Thus, it was quickly forced to be in a defensive mode. Yi Qingtang ignored the fight between the white tiger and the demonized statue and only looked at Ning Luo. The man before her exuded an extremely mysterious air. He did not have the skills of a holy venerate yet could control a heaven-grade divine weapon so perfectly. He was not that extraordinary lattice follower but was obsessed with destroying this mainland. Who exactly was he, and why did he want to do this? Ning Luo, where are you from, and why do you wish to destroy this mainland? Yi Qingtang stared at Ning Luo, who stood not far away, as though he was a powerful enemy. Chapter 664. Real Identity. Why? Are you very surprised that I can control this sword like this? Ning Luo chuckled gently as he waved the Ice Frost Divine Sword. Given your heart, you don't deserve this heaven-grade divine weapon, Yi Qingtang said straightforwardly. Don't deserve? Ning Luo turned around to look at Yi Qingtang. His aura actually combined perfectly with the Ice Frost Divine Sword in his hand. Did you say that I don't deserve this sword? Ning Luo smiled. It was clearly a person's voice, but when others heard it, it seemed that the Ice Frost Divine Sword and Ning Luo spoke at the same time. After sensing the strange aura on Ning Luo's body, Yi Qingtang's expression changed immediately. She was in disbelief. You seem to finally sense something. It's really not simple. Ning Luo's lips tugged up slightly. You are not a human. Yi Qingtang frowned slightly. Must one be a human if he wears human skin? Ning Luo shook his head. What exactly are you? Yi Qingtang stared straight at Ning Luo. No wonder there was no fluctuation of aura on him, and she could not tell his skill level. He was not even human. Ah! Ning Luo chuckled, yet it gave one a piercing coldness. Since you said that I don't deserve this sword, why can't you see that I am the sword itself? You said you are the Ice Frost Divine Sword? Yi Qingtang's eyes were filled with shock. You are the Ice Frost Divine Sword's sword spirit. Isn't this clear yet? As Ning Luo spoke, his aura had already combined with the Ice Frost Divine Sword to extreme perfection. Currently, Yi Qingtang could no longer tell whether the person was the sword or the sword was the person. Ha! Yi Qingtang, I'm the sword of that lady you talked about? My name is Ice Frost. I'm the Ice Frost Divine Sword. Ning Luo looked at Yi Qingtang, and his lips formed into an icy smile. Before my spiritual wisdom was activated, I had already followed her. I shared life and death with her. I shared glory with her, and she gave me the best sheath. I've been through adversity with her. When it is cold, she knows that I'm not afraid of the cold but still placed me before the fire. When I'm thirsty, she killed enemies while I drank their blood. When he said that, a cold wind roared, and frost fell faintly. When my spiritual wisdom was first activated, I was extremely elated, but she fell into a bloody pool before me. I never thought that the people that she cared deeply for would combine forces to steal everything she had, including her life. Yi Qingtang, don't you think it is perfectly justified for me to wipe out this mainland? At this instant, Yi Qingtang was speechless from the shock. She had guessed all kinds of identities that Ning Luo could have, but she never thought that he was the Ice Frost Divine Sword. Moreover, he was a sword spirit of a heaven-grade divine sword. In this world, ordinary weapons and Dharma treasures had spirituality, but it was not enough for their spiritual wisdom to be activated. However, as the grade of the weapons or Dharma treasures increased, its spirituality would become stronger as well. For example, the Ice Frost Divine Sword was a heaven-grade divine weapon and had followed the extraordinary lady for a long time. Its spiritual wisdom was finally activated, and it became a sword spirit. In this world, there was an extremely limited number of top-notch Dharma treasures of which spiritual wisdom could be activated. Not mentioning the first mainland, even if it was in the third domain of which martial culture was at its peak, a Dharma treasure with activated spiritual wisdom could cause the powerful figures that were at an emperor level to contend for it. For example, Yi was a great empress in her previous life but did not have any fate to obtain a heaven-grade divine weapon with an activated spiritual wisdom. To an extremely powerful person, this item was also something that they may meet by chance and was not something they could just ask for. How blessed was that extraordinary lady exactly? As a cultivator of the first mainland, it was already a miracle that she could obtain a heaven-grade divine weapon. Afterward, she even allowed the heaven-grade divine weapon to activate its spiritual wisdom and become a sword spirit. Since she knew that Ning Luo was a sword spirit, Yi Qingtang would naturally not dispute with him over anything, much less reason with him. All sword spirits were bigoted. Nothing but mad obsession. To a sword spirit, reasons were simply a joke. They only did what they liked and no one could stop them. Especially for Ning Luo, who personally witnessed the extraordinary lattice tragic death, it was not an exaggeration to say that he had gone mad. However, no matter what, she had to stop Ning Luo even if she had to risk her life for it. Her foster father, everyone in the Yi family clan, and her martial siblings from Xianling sect and Falling Sky Valley were all innocent. They must not be buried with the Ning Luo's anger, much less bear the consequences of the sins committed by their predecessors. Seeming to have seen through Yi Qingtang's thoughts, Ning Luo said without emotions, Yi Qingtang, there is a familiar bloodline aura on you. It's also from the fourth domain. I don't wish to hurt you, and you shall not think of stopping me. So you want to break the dimension wall and let that ancient clan from the central mainland come here and obtain that extraordinary lattice spiritual abode? Everything was caused by them. What has it got to do with the ordinary beings living on this mainland? Yi Qingtang asked. Those ancient clan people? They will also pay a price that is 100 times more miserable. When I've truly grown and become more powerful. A flicker flashed across Ning Luo's eyes. From Ning Luo's expression, Yi Qingtang could ascertain that he, a heaven-grade divine weapon that had activated its spiritual wisdom and turned into a sword spirit, would definitely not let off anyone who once harmed that extraordinary lady. He planned to use those people from the ancient clan to wipe out this mainland. Afterward, when he was fully grown, he would personally annihilate that ancient clan. Yi Qingtang, I said that we would still meet again in the future. This sentence is still effective. Ning Luo's lips curled up. However, before this, I can give you a chance. You said that this mainland is innocent. Since that's the case, do something then. Show me how long that faith you talked about can last for. What do you mean? Yi Qingtang looked at Ning Luo with a slight frown. Currently, I have enough strength to completely destroy the dimension wall protecting this mainland. As he spoke, he turned into a shadow and combined into one with the Ice Frost Divine Sword. Swoosh! The Ice Frost Divine Sword immediately surged into the air. An almost invisible sword light passed through the limit of the mystic realm and slashed towards the sky in the outside world. At the same time, the mainland, regardless of inside or outside the mystic realm, seemed to quake wildly. Apart from Yi Qingtang, no one else would know what exactly happened. The dimension wall was destroyed by Ning Luo. In at most a few breaths' time, the Ice Frost Divine Sword returned to the ground again. Yi Qingtang, given my current powers, I only destroyed 2/3 of this dimension wall. That ancient clan in the central mainland will not be able to find this place in a short period of time. So, you still have some time. Let me see how exactly your fourth domain bloodline will truly awaken. Let me see how you can stop those powerful figures from the ancient clan of the central mainland. Chapter 666. Who are you to do that? Yi Qingtang sighed after hearing Ning Luo. This sigh was not because of this mainland nor the dimension wall, but because she felt rather pitiful towards this Ice Frost Divine Sword. Ever since its spiritual wisdom was activated and it turned into a sword spirit, it had been in a world of misery and seeking revenge. Currently, 2/3 of the dimension wall was destroyed, which was considered a huge blessing in the misfortune to Yi Qingtang. If the dimension wall were completely destroyed, people from that ancient clan in the central mainland would definitely be able to find this place in less than 10 days. However, there was still 1/3 of the dimension wall remaining, which could buy them some time. Yi Qingtang, I hate those who are all talk and no action the most in my life. Since you think that the living beings on this mainland are innocent, do something then. If you're afraid, you can choose to leave this mainland anytime. I hope that we can still meet one day. After the Ice Frost Divine Sword finished speaking, it turned into a sword shadow immediately and rushed into the end of the sky, vanishing from this mystic realm without a trace. Along with Ning Luo's disappearance, the demonized Buddha statue which was fighting with the white tiger turned silent immediately and no longer moved. The white tiger roared angrily and slammed its paws down, crushing the demonized Buddha statue into powder. As the truth of Ning Luo's identity was revealed, Yi Qingtang finally understood why Ning Luo could influence and even control the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm. As the Ice Frost Divine Sword, Ning Luo's body had long been stained with the extraordinary lattice aura. On the other hand, this mystic realm was transformed by the extraordinary lattice soul formation. It was thus reasonable to think that Ning Luo could control this mystic realm. However, before Yi Qingtang could continue to think deeply, cold laughter rang in the air. Fiend celestial beast, are you willing to follow me? Afterward, Hiyu, who was seated on a huge, white spirit fox, arrived slowly. Fuck you. Another one coveting after my blood and flesh. The energy in the white tiger's body was already completely depleted, and it had turned into a little white tiger. Yi Qingtang's eyes flickered when she saw the lady on the spirit fox. Yi probably obtained a pretty large inheritance from that illusory palace in the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm. The spirit fox beneath her was a king-level demonic beast, yet it was also willing to acknowledge her as its master. Many Yunshao sect disciples finally dared to appear after seeing Yiyu. Congratulations, Senior Sister Yiyu, for having advanced your skills. Congratulations, Senior Sister Yiyu, for obtaining a king-level demonic beast. Senior Sister Yiyu, that white tiger is the fiend celestial beast in the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm. If our Yunshao sect can obtain it, we will definitely become the #1 super sect. Apart from the compliments of the disciples, the only remaining Yunshao sect warden chimed in hurriedly. This fiend celestial beast is destined to belong to me, Yiyu said without emotions. Yi Qingtang sized up Yiyu with interest. Currently, Yiyu was merely at the peak of martial chi level 3 third heaven, which was not far from her, a half-step yin-yang perfected lord. Even if Yiyu had her blue spirit root, Yi Qingtang possessed the ultimate origin skill. Yiyu wanted to snatch the fiend celestial beast away from her. Who was she to do that? Before Yi Qingtang spoke, an icy laugh sounded above them. In this mystic realm, everything is mine. Who is that? Yiyu was alarmed. In the next second, that ice frost divine sword that had initially disappeared suddenly returned. Swoosh! An icy sword gleam flashed across and pierced into the king-level demonic beast beneath Yiyu. The king-level spirit fox let out a miserable cry. Unable to hold out any longer, it collapsed on the ground and died. Even after, the sword force never decreased, and it threw Yiyu several meters away from the point of impact. Yiyu's face was ash-white as she spat out a mouthful of blood. Chapter 667, Leaving the Mystic Realm, 1. Yiyu flicked her wrist slightly and gently wiped the blood off the corners of her lips. As she looked at the ice frost divine sword ahead, her brows were furrowed deeply. She had not entered this part of the mystic realm for long and thus did not know what happened. After seeing that Yiyu was injured by the ice frost divine sword, everyone from Yunshao sect was shocked, and several disciples rushed forward hurriedly. What happened here? Yiyu asked softly. Senior Sister Yiyu, it's Ning Luo. One of the Yunshao sect disciples told Yiyu about the sequence of events. Ning Luo. After learning the situation, Yiyu was shocked. Ning Luo was not a human but a sword spirit of a divine sword? Yiyu, just nice that you're here. I almost forgot about you. Ning Luo's voice appeared from the ice frost divine sword. In the next second, Ning Luo condensed into a human form. His long black hair swayed in the wind. Wielding the ice frost divine sword in his hands, his aloof eyes landed on Yiyu. This is bad. Everyone from Yunshao sect felt their blood run cold when they saw the shocking murderous aura around Ning Luo. Many Yunshao sect disciples were already seniors in the inner sect, and they knew that there were some grudges between Ning Luo and Yiyu. Back when Ning Luo was in the sect, he had a rather close relationship with a junior sister. However, that junior sister had a conflict with Yiyu and offended her. Thus, all her cultivation was destroyed, and she was kicked out of the sect. On her departure from the sect, she encountered a group of rogues and had a tragic ending. However, everyone in Yunshao sect was shocked right now. Ning Luo was a sword spirit which hid in Yunshao sect. Could it be that he really had some feelings with that junior sister in the sect? When Yi Qingtang saw that Ning Luo returned again, seeming to have some grudges with Yiyu, she naturally sat out and waited to reap the spoils later on. At that moment, Ning Luo's manner was increasingly shocking. A frightening layer of frost emerged on his body as he faced Yiyu, seeming as though he was really infuriated. Yiyu, we can settle our scores now. Ning Luo had an aloof expression. His tone was utterly cold like a million-year-old glacier. Since you are a sword spirit, what grudges do we have? Yiyu rose slowly and looked at Ning Luo. Who told you that sword spirits do not have feelings? As Ning Luo spoke, the ice frost divine sword in his hands slashed towards Yiyu. Almost instantly, the surrounding area was frozen by the aura slashed out by the ice frost divine sword. Yiyu was agile and had flown away the instant Ning Luo waved the sword. It was, however, that the few disciples in front of Yiyu turned into frost and vanished into dust. Back when Ning Luo was hiding in Yunshao sect, He was not close to anyone other than that kind junior sister who was Ning Luo's only friend in Yunxiao sect. However, this only friend was indirectly killed by Yiyu. After the Hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm started, Ning Luo originally thought that Yiyu had already died in that land of inheritance. Yet, unexpectedly, she gained the inheritance and was not injured at all. Ning Luo, you'll remember our grudge for now. Since you're a sword spirit, you will eventually submit to me one day. Yiyu stood in the air proudly and stared down at Ning Luo. After hearing that, Ning Luo's lips curled up slightly. I'm afraid that you don't have a future. That's not necessarily so. As Yiyu spoke, she took out a black talisman which burned on its own in the next second. Spatial teleport talisman. Ning Luo was in thought when he saw that talisman. Chapter 668, Leaving the Mystic Realm, 2. This spatial teleport talisman was handed to me by the sect master. It's still put to use eventually. Yiyu sneered coldly. Before Yiyu entered the mystic realm, the sect master personally handed her the spatial teleport talisman. If she met any life-threatening dangers, she could use this spatial teleport talisman to escape. As the black talisman was burnt, Yiyu's body gradually turned unreal until it became an illusion. In just a moment, she had already vanished without a trace. I've never expected Yunxiao sect's heritage to be strong to this point, Yi Qingtang thought in her heart as she watched Yiyu disappear. Even to super sects, a spatial teleport talisman was extremely precious. It was evident that Yunxiao sect valued Yiyu very highly. Otherwise, they would not have handed this treasure to Yiyu for her to protect her life. With the spatial teleport talisman, even Ning Luo could only watch Yiyu leave before him now. As Yiyu left after using the spatial teleport talisman, Ning Luo looked at Yi Qingtang and subsequently took a cold glance of the surroundings. There was already no one in the vicinity. When Ning Luo appeared and injured Yiyu with a strike, the disciples from the super sects had already fled in advance, deeply afraid that they would encounter a calamity. Swoosh! In the next second, Ning Luo and the Ice Frost Divine Sword combined into one again. The Ice Frost Divine Sword rushed into the sky and disappeared in no time. When Yi Qingtang sensed that the aura of the Ice Frost Divine Sword had completely vanished, she finally ascertained that Ning Luo had really left the Hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm this time. To prevent more troubles, Yi Qingtang brought the Blood Moon Elder and the little white tiger out of the place in the fastest time possible and hid in a rather remote corner. With the death of the Xianling sect's Grand Elder and the departure of Ning Luo, the Hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm finally quieted down. Yi Qingtang was caught off guard by the entire experience in the mystic realm. The schemer of the mystic realm was actually Xianling sect's Grand Elder, while Ning Luo was that extraordinary lattice sword. As the Grand Elder had said, their scheme had to start in advance because of her. In her previous life, Xianling sect's annihilation happened a few years later. In her previous life, when Xianling sect was annihilated, Yi Qingtang was already forced to leave this mainland. Thus, she did not know about the dimension wall and the story behind the extraordinary lady and this mainland. Yi Qingtang guessed that in her previous life, apart from Yiyu who possessed the spatial teleport talisman and left safely, everyone else in the mystic realm should have died in this mystic realm. As for why Ouyang Qian could enter this mystic realm, perhaps it was because of an uncontrollable factor due to the advanced opening of the mystic realm. The reason was very simple actually. If they followed the timeline of her previous life, the mystic realm would have started several years later when Ouyang Qian was occupied with the domestic trivia of the Ouyang family clan and had no spare time for anything else. Because the mystic realm started in advance, many unexpected incidents that never happened in her previous life occurred. A long while later, Yi Qingtang stopped her train of thought and did not think any further. There was a rather huge gain in this trip into the mystic realm. Apart from the Black Heaven water, she also obtained an extremely precious illusion stone on top of hundreds of pounds of Millennium Meteoric Iron. Furthermore, her skills had advanced to a half-step yin-yang perfected lord. It could be said that in the thousands of people who entered the Hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm, none of their gains could be compared to Yi Qingtang's. Most of them had lost their lives here and had not even seen a treasure this whole time. Chapter 669 Leaving the Mystic Realm. 3. Only a small number of people were lucky enough to obtain some inheritances and treasures as they ran for their lives. Only Yi Yu obtained a destiny of a land of inheritance, but when compared to Yi Qingtang, Yi Yu's gains still paled greatly in comparison. Even Yi Qingtang did not think that she would be the one to obtain the fiend celestial beast after entering the hell of Avisnaraka. She still remembered how when they just entered the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm, she only thought of leaving this place alive and never expected to obtain any destinies or treasures. Currently, there was still some time for Yi Qingtang's spirit root to advance a grade. Thus, it was not appropriate to use the Black Heaven water to cleanse it in this period of time, and Yi Qingtang was not in a hurry either. In the next few days, there was not a moment that Yi Qingtang rested as she consolidated her cultivation at her hiding place. On the other hand, the little white tigers slept soundly while the Blood Moon Elder patrolled the surroundings. The past few days were rather calm and quiet, and nothing special happened. Most of the remaining survivors in the hell of Avisnaraka seemed to be hidden as well. No one was clear whether that Ice Frost Divine Sword left or hid somewhere. If he returned again like before, he would probably slay anyone he saw. The Blood Moon Elder entered the cave that Yi Qingtang was hiding in and spoke. "Holy Lady, not much happened in the past few days. It seems that everyone is waiting for the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm to close." Yi Qingtang nodded. It was the same as what she expected. The interior of the giant tower was not as dangerous as the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm. As long as they did not leave the giant tower or risk their lives and head to the dangerous areas, they would not encounter any danger. Several hours later, the hell of Avisnaraka dimmed. Heaven and earth seemed to suddenly reverse. When Yi Qingtang opened her eyes again, she was already out of the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm. The wind caressed her cheeks as she stepped on the flat land. It was only then when Yi Qingtang returned to her senses. At this instant, she had finally left that dangerous hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm. Although she had gained many things, she was unwilling to come to this place another time. "Holy Lady, are we out?" The Blood Moon Elder looked at the dense forest that surrounded them. Yi Qingtang nodded slightly. They were finally out. Once the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm closed, the remaining survivors were subsequently released at various areas. There were no other survivors nearby where Yi Qingtang was released. "Where do we go now?" The Blood Moon Elder fixed his thoughts. God knew how torturous that hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm was. "Fuck. Why am I out?" The little white tiger crawled up. When it saw the beautiful forest around it, it was utterly stupefied. It had been in the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm for a long time. Even if the mystic realm opened or closed, it did not have any influence on it. But why was it out this time? Yi Qingtang looked at the dumbstruck little white tiger. "Did you forget that you signed an equality contract with me?" Once the mystic realm closed, all people would be removed from the mystic realm. The little white tiger was originally not in the scope of being removed, but she and the little white tiger signed a contract. Hence, when she was being sent out, the miserable fiend celestial beast was also sent out as well. The little white tiger glared at the calm Yi Qingtang, and all of its hair stood up. "Fuck you. I'm not leaving. If you all want to leave, you all can leave by yourselves." Chapter 670 Leaving the Mystic Realm. 4. The Blood Moon Elder's lips twitched. They wished to leave the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm as fast as possible, yet this fiend celestial beast still wanted to stay in it? "You still want to go back in?" the Blood Moon Elder asked. The little white tiger said, "Duh. Everyone outside wants to drink my blood and eat my flesh. The hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm is still the safest. You all can leave. I won't walk you out already. Just come back frequently to visit me." It wanted to retreat backward, but when its 4 tiny paws took a few steps, it was already picked up by Yi Qingtang by its neck. "Fuck you. Why are you grabbing me? Quickly put me down." "Are you a fool?" Yi Qingtang looked at the little white tiger which bared its fangs and brandished its claws in hopes of escaping. "Fuck you. You are the fool." The hell of a Visanaraka mystic realm is already closed. How are you going to go back? Yi Qingtang raised the hand that was holding onto the little white tiger and let it see its surroundings. After glancing a full round, there were only green trees in the surroundings and not a slight trace of the mystic realm's entrance. The little white tiger that was still struggling initially was completely dumbfounded after taking a sweeping glance. It's hell of a Visanaraka mystic realm. It's all your fault. You caused me to lose even my last shelter. If I leave, won't I have to endure many hardships and drift from place to place? Despair filled the little white tiger's face. Thinking about its miserable life when it was chased after for its life, it wished it could rush back into the hell of a Visanaraka mystic realm. Since you really don't wish to leave, I'll let you have your wish. After saying that, Yi Qingtang immediately placed the little white tiger back on the ground. You can stay here to wait for the next time the mystic realm opens. The little white tiger, which regained its freedom, was instantly a little dumbfounded. Wait for the mystic realm to open the next time? God knows how many years this mystic realm required to open. If it continued to waste time here waiting, God knows how many humans and demonic beasts it would encounter. Almost when its paws landed on the ground, the little white tiger turned around, leaped, and directly hugged Yi Qingtang's calf. Wait, I changed my mind. Change your mind? Yi Qingtang raised a brow slightly. The little white tiger looked up and nodded seriously. Since I've already signed an equality contract, I must be responsible for you. Thus, I'll leave with you. I must protect your safety. Yi Qingtang rubbed her temples. She suddenly had an impulse to stuff it back into the hell of a Visanaraka mystic realm. Yi Qingtang had just left the hell of a Visanaraka mystic realm and could not be bothered with this crazy fiend celestial beast, so she allowed it to nag. After observing for a moment, Yi Qingtang brought the Blood Moon Elder and the little white tiger away from this forest. Before night fell, they found a cave to rest in. When they were in the hell of a Visanaraka, they had to be cautious every moment. Now that they were finally free from that dangerous land, Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder could finally sleep peacefully. The moonlight enshrouded the place gradually. Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder fell asleep soundly. The little white tiger was sprawled outside the cave, seeming to be in a deep sleep as well. In this dark night, a ball of black fog quietly floated out from Yi Qingtang's chest. Very quickly, that fog condensed into a little black ball about the size of a palm. The little black ball suddenly opened its eyes and looked straight at the little white tiger which was sleeping outside the cave. The appearance of the little black ball caused the little lightning dragon in Yi Qingtang's arms to wriggle instinctively. It peeked its head out silently and looked at the little black ball. Don't worry. I will not use your body again for now. Moreover, I found an even better one. The little black ball narrowed its eyes in satisfaction as it stared at the snow-white body of the little white tiger. When they were in the hell of a Visanaraka previously, the little black ball's powers were suppressed within the heart of the demon god. Even if Yi Qingtang was endangered, it could not appear and break free from that suppression. Fortunately, they went through the daunting experience without mishaps. The little lightning dragon's body was still not powerful enough. Rather, the fiend celestial beast before it. At that thought, the little black ball shuffled to the little white tiger's side immediately. However, just as the little black ball was about to reach the little white tiger, which was originally in deep sleep, suddenly opened its eyes. Almost the same instant when the little white tiger opened its eyes, a powerful demonic air suddenly surged out from its body, and its body enlarged extremely quickly. Get lost. Don't disturb me. All of a sudden, a large and muscular fiend celestial beast stared at the little black ball that was about the size of a palm. At this very instant, its eyes became especially sharp. Even when it was in the hell of a Visanaraka mystic realm, it had never displayed such a sharp bearing before. The little black ball was dumbfounded instantly. Looking at the fiend celestial beast whose bearing suddenly changed drastically, it was inevitable that it was astounded. However, before the little black ball took another step, the aura that swelled out from the fiend celestial beast had already awakened Yi Qingtang. Sitting up absent-mindedly, She narrowed her eyes and looked in the direction of the aura. At the same time when Yi Qingtang rose, the little black ball shuffled into the little lightning dragon's body at lightning speed. The little lightning dragon was dumbfounded. What about the said, "will not use your body"? In the next second, a ball of light enveloped the little lightning dragon's body, which suddenly enlarged. When the light faded, the little dragon man with a pair of dragon horns appeared before Yi Qingtang. Mother, the little black ball, which took over the little lightning dragon's body once again, buried its head in Yi Qingtang's arms as it wriggled around comfortably. Yi Qingtang looked at the little lightning dragon which suddenly turned into its human form in a daze. A hint of shock flashed across her eyes. This little fellow had not turned into its human form for a long time, and she almost forgot that it had that ability already. However, before Yi Qingtang could think why this little fellow suddenly transformed, she looked up instinctively only to see the gigantic fiend celestial beast that covered the entire cave entrance. The little white tiger which was initially so tiny had now turned into the fiend celestial beast with an imposing aura. Furthermore, at that very instant, the expression in the fiend celestial beast's eyes was especially sharp, and its eyes were staring right at the little dragon man in her arms. "You are..." Yi Qingtang faintly sensed something wrong with the fiend celestial beast. Even when they were in the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm, she had never seen such a serious expression in its eyes before. The fiend's celestial beast narrowed its eyes and subsequently put away all of its aura. Its huge body turned into that tiny little white tiger before Yi Qingtang's eyes. "I can't even have a peaceful sleep." The little white tiger puffed, though its eyes casually swept across the little black ball that was nested in Yi Qingtang's arms. A cold glint flashed across its eyes. Then, it did not say anything else, strutted away, and went to sleep once again. Chapter 672, 9 Nights Dynasty, 1. Yi Qingtang's head ached a little as she looked at the little white tiger which went back to sleep, not understanding what happened to the fiend celestial beast again. "Mother, do you miss me?" The little dragon man looked up at Yi Qingtang. Wasn't it nested in her arms all day? Did she still need to miss it? Making contact with the little dragon man's big, bright eyes, Yi Qingtang could only nod helplessly. She really did not understand why this little fellow was so glued to her. "It's late. Let's rest early." Yi Qingtang patted the little dragon man's head. She woke up in the middle of her sleep and was still a little tired. Moreover, she still had to hit the road the next morning and thus needed to be fully rested. The little dragon man nodded in satisfaction. As Yi Qingtang laid down, the little dragon man snuggled next to her obediently. Right before it closed its eyes, it discreetly swept a glance at the little white tiger which was sleeping not far away. The next morning when Yi Qingtang and the rest woke up, the little black ball had already returned into Yi Qingtang's body while the little lightning dragon, which was once again sucked dry, wilted. It would never believe anything that little bully said again. "Holy lady, where are we going next?" The Blood Moon Elder asked Yi Qingtang. "I'll send you home," Yi Qingtang said with a smile. Are we returning to the Blood Moon sect?" The Blood Moon Elder's eyes lit up immediately. However, Yi Qingtang's next words utterly kicked the Blood Moon Elder out from his delusions. "Accurately speaking, it's sending you back to Ouyang Qian's home." Yi Qingtang scanned the Blood Moon Elder with a grin. Yi Qingtang already had a plan in mind. There were orders to kill her everywhere in Formidable Heaven's dynasty now, and it would be inconvenient for her to return. On the other hand, this mystic realm was not far away from the 9 Nights dynasty. If they went to the 9 Nights dynasty, it would be more convenient. There were only a few months left for Xianling sect's defense, and she had to reach the true Yin-Yang perfected Lord state in this period of time in order to save the entire Xianling sect. To break through to the Yin-Yang perfected Lord in such a short span of time, she could only head to Falling Sky Valley. Furthermore, Yi Qingtang retrieved a tiny jade pendant from her space ring. This space ring was given to her by her foster father, who made it clear that it was found on her when they picked her up, and it was probably related to her parentage. The origin of this jade pendant was related to the royals of the 9 Nights dynasty. Regardless of becoming more powerful or tracing her parentage, Yi Qingtang had to head to the Nine Knights dynasty and Falling Sky Valley. Holy Lady, do I really have to go to the Ouyang family? Despair was seen on the Blood Moon Elder's face. Let alone that he was already forced to become a female, his Holy Lady still wanted to send him to the Ouyang family to be someone's daughter. In his entire life, he had never experienced such torture before. When he thought that he might have to call the Ouyang family clan master father, disgust filled him. Not only do you have to go there, but you also have to use Ouyang family clan's influence to help me check something, Yi Qingtang said. What is it? The Blood Moon Elder asked. Yi Qingtang held the jade pendant in front of the Blood Moon Elder. Look at this jade pendant clearly. It said that this jade pendant is related to the royals of the Nine Knights dynasty. When you've returned to the Ouyang family clan, help me find out about it. The Ouyang family clan was a super family clan in the Nine Knights dynasty. Given their position and influence, they could definitely find out about secrets that ordinary people could not. The Blood Moon Elder was filled with confusion as he looked at that jade pendant. He could sense that this jade pendant had an extraordinary significance to Holy Lady, otherwise she would not order him to investigate it so solemnly. Rest assured, Holy Lady, I will definitely do my best. After giving a slight nod, Yi Qingtang turned to look at the little white tiger which was still sleeping soundly. Under the warm sunlight, the little white tiger was comfortably sprawled on its back with its stomach exposed. Before we go to the Nine Knights dynasty, I still need to make some preparations. Afterward, Yi Qingtang narrowed her eyes balefully and walked right towards the little white tiger. The little white tiger was still sleeping soundly and had not realized the incoming danger. It was still dreaming, but suddenly it felt a tight grip at the back of its neck, and it was directly lifted off the ground. It widened its eyes in horror and met with Yi Qingtang's eyes that hid a subtle smile. Fuck you! What are you doing? Yi Qingtang raised her hand and flicked the tip of the little white tiger's nose. If you curse at me again, I won't hold back anymore. I need to help you make a tiny change now. I'm very good now. I don't need any changes. The little white tiger rubbed its painful nose as it looked at Yi Qingtang in horror. Don't be nervous. I'm just helping you to dye a color. Afterward, Yi Qingtang brought the little white tiger to the stream outside the cave with another hand touching her space ring. There was already a number of people who saw the little white tiger's appearance in the hell of Avisnaraka mystic realm. Although white tigers were not a frequent sight, if anyone found out about it, Yi Qingtang might be embroiled in troubles because of it. Luckily, it was simple to dye a white tiger into the appearance of a common tiger. Die! Woman, put me down quickly. If you don't let me go, I won't hold back anymore. After hearing that, the little white tiger's hair stood up. However, no matter how loudly it roared, it was still brought to the stream by Yi Qingtang. In no time, Yi Qingtang brought a little tiger with orange fur back. The Blood Moon Elder almost burst out laughing there and then when he saw the little white tiger which still had some wet patches on its body. The little white tiger became a little orange tiger in an instant. It must be said that the color did not feel out of place. Woman, if not for the fact that I signed a contract with you, such mischief is already enough for me to kill you countless times. The little white tiger glared at Yi Qingtang. After hearing that, the smile on the Blood Moon Elder's lips twisted. Until when is this damn fiend celestial beast going to be so stubborn? Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. Revolt if you have the ability. Without responding to the little white tiger, Yi Qingtang took out a bottle of elixir from her space ring and consumed it. That elixir was used for changing one's looks. The young teen which Yi Qingtang disguised as was already exposed before everyone by the Grand Elder, and she could only use other objects to disguise herself. A while after the elixir was consumed, a subtle change appeared in her appearance. The original soft features gradually had traces of willfulness like that of a young boy. Although it was different from her previous male appearance, her features were still exquisite and outstanding. As Yi Qingtang's lips curled up slightly, she immediately turned into a beautiful boy who could bewitch anyone. After making all the preparations, Yi Qingtang changed into a male outfit and brought the dyed little white tiger and the blood moon elder out. They bought a carriage in a small town on their way and were on their journey to the Nine Knights dynasty. The Nine Knights dynasty had a vast territory. As one of the two big dynasties in this mainland, its territory was especially large. The Ouyang family clan was the #1 family clan of the Nine Knights dynasty and was situated in the monarch city. The land in the monarch city of Nine Knights dynasty was the largest city in the dynasty. It stretched a full 100 miles, and the spirit energy in that land was rich. Setting this land apart to build this city was initially intended by the first emperor of Nine Knights dynasty. Apart from the royals of Nine Knights dynasty, most of the various dominant forces were built up in the monarch city. This included Yi Qingtang's destination, Falling Sky Valley. The dominant forces counterbalanced each other in the monarch city, and the Nine Knights dynasty royal family did not dare to interfere too much. Sitting in the carriage, Yi Qingtang looked out of the window while holding onto the jade pendant in her hands. The scene outside became increasingly familiar to her. She still vividly remembered this scene she saw when she fled into the Nine Knights dynasty in her previous life. Afterward, she was accepted by perfected Xianxin as a disciple and entered Falling Sky Valley. Although it was the same road, the situations in this life and the previous were completely different. In this life, she would definitely not be as miserable. Holy Lady, we are reaching the Nine Knight dynasty's monarch city very soon. The Blood Moon Elder saw the boundless city wall not far away from the carriage window and turned around to inform Yi Qingtang. When we enter the monarch city, don't call me Holy Lady anymore. Yi Qingtang replied. Then I'll call you Darling Yi? The Blood Moon Elder looked at Yi Qingtang endearingly. Yi Qingtang's lips froze. She was just this close to throwing the Blood Moon Elder out of the carriage. Call me young Sir Yi. Remember, I am called Yi Chen now, Yi Qingtang said. Oh, young Sir Yi. The Blood Moon Elder followed after Yi Qingtang's words. Yi Qingtang turned around and looked at Little White Tiger, which had a lifeless expression. Ever since it was dyed another color, its eyes were filled with nothing but misery. Little White, don't be so anxious. Your dyed color is only temporary. The Little White Tiger quivered at the address of Little White. Fuck you. Who allowed you to anyhow name me? You're Little White. Your whole family is Little White. The Little White Tiger shouted in fury. Yi Qingtang rubbed her chin as she looked at the orange fur that stood all over the Little White Tiger's body. Then I'll call you Little Orange? You're little. Your whole family is little. The Blood Moon Elder took a glance of the Little White Tiger and curled his lips secretly. Does it still think it is very big? Yi Qingtang did not know whether to laugh or cry as she looked at the rebelling Little White Tiger. Little White, you must not open your mouth so casually anymore once we enter the monarch city. Otherwise, if people find out that you're not an ordinary tiger, I dare not guarantee anything. The Little White Tiger froze for a moment, and a serious expression appeared on its face. Don't worry. I said that I would guarantee your safety. Why did it become that it was protecting her? A laugh escaped her lips as she shook her head. Just as Yi Qingtang chuckled, the carriage had already arrived at the city gates of the monarch city. As the monarch city of the Nine Knights dynasty, which was also a territory of the dominant forces, the guards at the city gates were extremely strict with the entry and exit of people. Non-citizens of the monarch city and ordinary people were not allowed to enter or leave the city as they wished. Immediately, the soldiers at the city gate stopped the carriage that Yi Qingtang and the rest were in. Chapter 675. Ouyang Family Clan 1. The Blood Moon Elder peeked his head out without waiting for Yi Qingtang say anything. Once Ouyang Qian's face appeared, the few guards immediately let them pass. The Ouyang family clan's influence in Nine Knights dynasty was extraordinary, and the guards at the monarch city naturally recognized the young miss of the Ouyang family clan. It was, however, that they found it strange. Since when would Ouyang family clan's young miss sit in such a plain carriage? As the carriage entered the monarch city successfully, Yi Qingtang glanced at the scenery in the city. Seeing that they were about to reach the main door of the Ouyang family clan, She suddenly turned to look at the Blood Moon Elder. Do you remember everything I said about Ouyang Qian and the Ouyang family clan? Rest assured, Holy Lady. I remember them clearly. The Blood Moon Elder nodded, knowing the seriousness of the matter. The Ouyang family clan was the #1 family clan in Nine Knights dynasty, and its heritage was not what original family clans could compare to. The Blood Moon Elder stole Ouyang Qian's body currently, and if he accidentally let slip anything, the Ouyang family clan would skin him alive. Ouyang Qian behaves bossily, and the only person she is slightly obedient to is her father, who is Ouyang family clan's family clan master, Ouyang Jian. As long as you remember what I said previously clearly, there should not be any problems. Yi Qingtang warned. Noted, the Blood Moon Elder said and nodded. Wasn't it just a bossy young miss? How difficult was that? As they spoke, the carriage had already reached the main door of Ouyang family clan. When the few guards standing at the Ouyang family clan door saw a simple carriage stopping before them, they frowned immediately and walked up. This is Ouyang family clan's territory. Miscellaneous people are not to stay. Before waiting for the guard to finish speaking, a loud shout suddenly traveled out from the carriage. How dare you? Who gave you the audacity to stop my carriage? The moment that sound came out, the Ouyang family clan guards were stunned. They were more than familiar with this voice. Didn't it belong to their young miss, Ouyang Qian? As the guards were taken aback, the Blood Moon Elder who was in Ouyang Qian's skin walked out of the carriage with arrogance and impatience written all over her exquisite face. A group of good-for-nothings. Don't you all recognize me already? The Blood Moon Elder shouted coldly with a frown. Greetings, young miss. The group of guards bowed hurriedly as they broke out in a cold sweat. How would they have thought that their distinguished young miss would actually sit in such an old carriage? Yi Qingtang secretly raised her brows as she watched the Blood Moon Elder's arrogant attitude. It seems that the Blood Moon Elder had adapted to his new identity pretty well. That bossiness is quite on point. The Blood Moon Sect Elder lifted his chin arrogantly. At least he was an elder of Blood Moon Sect 1,000 years ago. This mighty stance was at his fingertips. If he was not thrown into this pit, he would not have gotten into so much trouble. Now that he saw how fearful the Ouyang family clan's guards behaved, it was really great. Make way quickly. Without looking at those guards, the Blood Moon Elder walked in himself. Yi Qingtang subsequently brought the little white tiger down the carriage and followed behind the Blood Moon Elder into the Ouyang family clan residence. The guards at the door could only watch that beautiful young man beside their young miss in surprise. Where did this beautiful young man jump out from? However, even if they were confused, no one dared to question as everyone knew that the Ouyang family clan's young miss was bad-tempered and obstinate. If they made her unhappy, they probably would not even know how they died. The Blood Moon Elder and Yi Qingtang entered the Ouyang family clan together. Upon hearing the news, the housekeeper immediately brought people to welcome them. Please forgive us for not welcoming you earlier as we did not know you were returning today, young Mississippi. Do pardon us. The housekeeper welcomed her respectfully. The Blood Moon Elder nodded arrogantly. This is... The housekeeper instinctively looked at the beautiful young man beside Ouyang Qian. The Blood Moon Elder's face darkened immediately. Do I still need to tell you who I bring back? I don't dare. I've overstepped my line. You better not dare. Where's my father? The Blood Moon Elder was a little awkward when he mentioned the word father. The Qin family's eldest young sir is here for a visit today. The family master is in the hall right now. Qin family's eldest young sir? The Blood Moon Elder was not very clear about the Qin family's eldest young sir and looked towards Yi Qingtang instinctively. However, a cold glint suddenly flashed across Yi Qingtang's eyes. She only told the Blood Moon Elder about the relations of the people in the Ouyang family clan and forgot that Qin Chen existed. Qin Chen was the son of Qin Long, the current premier of the Nine Knights dynasty. Although the Nine Knights dynasty was controlled by the Nine Knights royals on the surface, the emperor suddenly became seriously ill a few years ago and could not preside the political affairs. As such, he had to pass his position on to his young son, who was only 5 years old back then. The premier, Qin Long, was appointed as a supporting minister to help the new emperor in presiding over the political affairs. However, no matter how intelligent a 5-year-old kid was, he definitely did not have the ability to control the court. Although Qin Long was a premier, he secretly controlled most of the power in the Nine Knights dynasty with the excuse that the emperor was young, and he even cajoled the young emperor to fully believe in him. Currently, the Nine Knights dynasty was gradually descending into corruption and chaos, and this was mostly related to Qin Long's control. Qin Chen was Qin Long's only son and was very doted on by Qin Long. Moreover, Qin Long had planned to form a marriage alliance with the number 1 family clan, Ouyang family clan, and he thus wanted Qin Chen to interact more with Ouyang Chen. When Yi Qingtang knew Ouyang Chen back then, Ouyang Chen and Qin Chen were extremely close. From what she knew, when Ouyang Chen drugged her, it was Qin Chen who helped Ouyang Chen get the drug, and it was also him who told Ouyang Chen about Yi Qingtang's heart of the demon god. Yi Qingtang did not expect that he would actually bump into Qin Chen here. She secretly gave a look to the Blood Moon Elder for him to not act rashly, which he understood immediately. He told the housekeeper, "All right, you can retreat first. I'll just go to the hall myself later." The housekeeper did not dare to defy orders and obediently led the people away. Looking at his current stance where every word carried weight, the Blood Moon Elder was increasingly comfortable, seeming to return to his arrogance when he was in his peak back in the years. Now, it seemed that there were benefits in seizing Ouyang Chen's body. After all, the Ouyang family clan's position was not ordinary, and Ouyang Chen was deeply doted on by the Ouyang family clan master, Ouyang Jian. In the Nine Knights dynasty, it could be said that she could have anything she wanted. When the Ouyang family clan servants left, Yi Qingtang immediately notified the Blood Moon Elder of Qin Chen's identity, though she naturally hid the fact that Qin Chen wanted to seduce Ouyang Chen. Chapter 677, Ouyang Family Clan, 3. When you see Ouyang Jian later, just speak as how we planned earlier. Yi Qingtang told the Blood Moon Elder. As long as they could get past this stage, the Blood Moon Elder's identity as the Ouyang family clan's young miss would be solidified. After all, there were rare cases of possessing others' body. As long as the Blood Moon Elder did not expose himself, there should not be any problems. In the hall of the Ouyang family clan, Ouyang Jian was seated at the highest-ranking position. Although he was over 50 years old, he maintained his appearance well. He had a good-looking face, and there was not a single gray hair to be seen. "Oh, Jian is back?" A smile suddenly broke out on Ouyang Jian's stoic face. He was extremely happy that his daughter returned safely. "Yes," the housekeeper replied honestly. After hearing that, a handsome man in the hall spoke immediately. "Miss Qian is a good person and is protected by the god. Uncle Ouyang was worried that Qian may meet with danger in this mystic realm. Now that she has returned, your heart can finally be at ease." Ouyang Jian laughed. "Qian is stubborn. I originally did not wish for her to head to this mystic realm herself, but I could not convince her. Fortunately, she returned safely though. Since you happen to be here today as well, treat it as welcoming Qian back home." That handsome man was the current premier's son, Qin Chen. "That is of course. I haven't seen Qian for a long time as well." Qin Chen replied with a smile. As they spoke, 2 figures arrived in the hall. When Ouyang Jian saw the girl at the front, his eyes were immediately filled with a loving expression. "Qian, you're back." When the Blood Moon Elder saw Ouyang Jian, who was beaming dotingly, he felt an infarction and could only force himself to reply. "Father, I'm back." "It's good that you're back. Why are you back alone? Where are the rest?" Ouyang Jian looked behind the Blood Moon Elder. For this trip to the mystic realm, he specially arranged quite a number of people to accompany his daughter. However, apart from a foreign-looking young man behind her, there was not a single member from the Ouyang family clan. The Blood Moon Elder glanced at Yi Qingtang from the corner of his eyes. When he saw Yi Qingtang nodding at him discreetly, grief and indignation filled him. He took a deep breath and pinched his thigh hard without leaving a trace. The extreme pain that took over him forced 2 drops of tears out of his eyes. Right after that, he looked up at Ouyang Jian with a grieved expression. Father, everyone died. What? The smile on Ouyang Jian's face froze instantly. That mystic realm was simply a trap. After we entered it, we realized that it was simply not an ordinary mystic realm but 100-level peril hell of Avisnaraka. The danger level of it was simply unimaginable. Many of us died soon after entering the mystic realm. If not for the fact that I met Holy Young Sir Yi, my life would probably have ended in there, the Blood Moon Elder wailed as he pinched his thigh, brilliantly putting on the grieved expression. There's actually such a thing? Ouyang Jian's face darkened when he saw his precious daughter crying so pitifully. He immediately stood up and walked to the Blood Moon Elder, patting his back with a doting expression. Don't be afraid, Qian. Now that you're back home, no one can harm you anymore. Chapter 678, Ouyang Family Clan 4. The Blood Moon Elder was disgusted from being patted by Ouyang Jian but could only force himself to lean on his father's arm frailly in search for comfort. Ouyang Jian looked at his daughter in his arms with a frown. Then he looked up at the beautiful young man who followed the Blood Moon Elder into the Ouyang family clan. However, at this instant, there was less affection and more sharpness in his eyes. I am Yi Qin, Yi Qingtang said in a dignified manner. May I know who your master is? Ouyang Jian asked cautiously. Although the Blood Moon Elder said that this young man was his benefactor, Ouyang Jian did not believe it easily. Given the Ouyang family clan's position, many people schemed to cling to them. Yi Chen was of dubious background, and no one knew what his motive of saving Ouyang Jian was. Yi Qingtang obviously knew what Ouyang Jian was thinking of. Ouyang Jian was a cautious and ruthless person. He only displayed a kind father's appearance to Ouyang Jian but was exceptionally fierce to others. I'm just an itinerant cultivator. Itinerant cultivator? Ouyang Jian's eyes sharpened. He had heard a thing or two about the 100-level peril hell of Avisnaraka before. The people whom the Ouyang family clan sent out this time were all at martial chi level 3 and above, and even Ouyang Qian was at martial chi level 3 herself. So many aces lost their lives in the hell of Avisnaraka, but how capable was this Yi Qin to be able to escape safely and even save his daughter? I've troubled you this time, young Sir Yi. Since you saved Qian, the Ouyang family will naturally not treat you badly. Afterward, Ouyang Jian turned around and spoke to the Blood Moon Elder. Qian, you were shocked and will need to recuperate. Someone retrieve the Lingyue elixir for young Mississippi. The Blood Moon Elder's eyes brightened immediately upon hearing those 2 words. The Lingyue pill was a miracle pill that could replenish one's chi and blood and nourish one's muscles and veins. It was a treasure that normal people could not even buy with money. Before the Blood Moon Elder returned to his senses, the housekeeper had already brought a bottle of Lingyue elixir and handed it to the Blood Moon Elder. Qian, if you need anything, just tell me. I will not let you suffer ever again, Ouyang Jian said dearly. This time, the Blood Moon Elder did not find it disgusting at all. Looking at the bottle that was filled to the brim with Lingyue elixir and hearing Ouyang Jian's promise, his heart bloomed. How was Ouyang family clan's heritage? How plentiful were their treasures? Just by how Ouyang Jian pampered Ouyang Qian, he would thrive in the Ouyang family from now on. Thank you, father, the Blood Moon Elder said with a smile, saying father smoothly and cleanly this time. Qian, I didn't think that this trip would be so alarmingly dangerous. Just nice I have some Imperial Spirit pills. Do accept it too. Qin Chen, who had been silent throughout, suddenly stood up. He took out a few bottles of pills from his space ring and handed them to the Blood Moon Elder. Although the Imperial Spirit pill was not as precious as the Lingyue pill, it was extremely rare as well. With Yi Qingtang's earlier reminder, the Blood Moon Elder naturally recognized the man before him. However, to him, there was no such logic as rejecting a treasure that was sent right to his doorstep. I'll accept it then. The Blood Moon Elder took those bottles of Imperial Spirit pill over from Qin Chen. In just a moment, he gained several bottles of precious elixirs and pills successively without even doing anything. The Blood Moon Elder was more than delighted. Chapter 679, Black Market, 1. Wasn't it just being a woman? He would just go all out. Yi Qingtang looked at the blissful Blood Moon Elder and did not know whether to laugh or cry. She increasingly felt that her cheap brother must have been blind to let the Blood Moon Elder attain the position as an elder back then. Just as Yi Qingtang secretly chuckled, she suddenly felt a sharp gaze on her. She looked up discreetly but realized that Qin Chen was scanning her with a sharp and intense gaze. Young Sir Yi, thank you for your help this time. I am Qin Chen, the son of the Nine Knights Dynasty's premier. If there's anything you need help with in the future, just let me know. When Qin Chen sensed Yi Qingtang's gaze, the sharpness in his eyes faded away quietly, and it was replaced with a dashing smile like that of a distinguished young sir. Yi Qingtang was wearing plain clothes which were made from relatively ordinary material and did not have any accessories on her. Compared to Qin Chen, who was donned in an elegant outfit, she naturally did not have a noble air to her. You're too polite, young Sir Qin. I still have something on. I'm just sending Miss Ouyang back first today. Now that she has safely reached, I'll take my leave, Yi Qingtang said plainly. Hearing that Yi Qingtang was leaving, the Blood Moon Elder, who was initially gleeful over the treasures he just obtained, immediately looked up. What? You're leaving now? Although Yi Qingtang did tell him of the plan for the coming time, the Blood Moon Elder did not think that she would leave so quickly. Perhaps because he was a little anxious, there were traces of nervousness in his tone. However, that nervousness had a different meaning in Qin Chen's ears. Qin Chen narrowed his eyes secretly, sizing up the young man. Although that young man was wearing simple and plain clothes, his exquisite features were too striking, and even Qin Chen had rarely seen such a good-looking male. Qin Chen knew of his father's plan from a long time ago and had been deliberately creating opportunities to get closer to Ouyang Qian. He did not expect Yi Chen to appear out of nowhere. It should be known that not only was Yi Chen Ouyang Qian's life savior, he was also extremely handsome, and the two of them had been spending time together alone for some time before she returned. If Ouyang Qian's heart was really moved by Yi Chen, Qin Chen frowned secretly. No one was allowed to disrupt his plans. Yes, Miss Ouyang. I still have things to do, Yi Qingtang said without emotions. Anyway, she saw that the Blood Moon Elder was completely into his new identity, and she did not need to worry at all. The Blood Moon Elder could not say anything further. Ouyang Jian was generous and ordered people to prepare many gifts of thanks for Yi Qingtang, which she accepted all without declining. Her behavior put Ouyang Jian's mind slightly more at ease. Qin Chen did not say anything and merely observed Yi Qingtang's every action, seeming to be thinking about something. I'll take my leave then. Yi Qingtang bade farewell to the Blood Moon Elder and brought the little white tiger out of the Ouyang family clan. As long as the Blood Moon Elder could maintain his identity in the Ouyang family clan, she believed that she could find out the origins of her jade pendant with the Ouyang family clan's influence in no time. That nagging woman is gone. My eardrums can finally have its peace and quietness. As the little white tiger watched Yi Qingtang leaving the Ouyang family clan, it was very satisfied with the Blood Moon Elder's departure. Yi Qingtang was speechless as she looked at the little white tiger, which was similarly talkative. After settling the Blood Moon Elder down, Yi Qingtang was not in a hurry to head to Falling Sky Valley. While her original demonic blood sword was pretty good, it was insufficient when compared to her current skills. There was still quite an amount of Millennium Meteoric Iron in her space ring. If she could use these to forge a new sword, she would become even more powerful. At that thought, Yi Qingtang headed to the underground black market in the Monarch City based on what she remembered from her previous life. That was a land of darkness concealed beneath the glamorous Monarch City. In the underground black market, there was nothing that could not be sold. Anyone familiar with the Monarch City knew that they had to head to the underground black market if they wished to obtain a truly good thing. In her previous life, Yi Qingtang went to the underground black market with the eldest senior brother of Falling Sky Valley. It was the first time she saw the various transactions hidden in the dark. However, Yi Qingtang's real objective of going to the underground black market was not to buy anything. She wanted to find a person, a blacksmith who lived in seclusion in the underground black market. The forging process for the Millennium Meteoric Iron was extremely complicated, and normal forging workshops did not have the conditions to forge it. No matter how skilled Yi Qingtang's forgery was, if she did not have the tools, she could only look at it. Moreover, the Millennium Meteoric Iron was extremely precious, and Yi Qingtang was unable to find it even in her previous life. Thus, she did not know how to use the Millennium Meteoric Iron. In her previous life, her master, perfected Xianqian, had always wanted to forge a weapon with the Millennium Meteoric Iron. Thus, he even specially found a blacksmith who had been living in seclusion for a long time. That blacksmith was one of the few blacksmiths in the entire mainland that could forge a sword using Millennium Meteoric Iron. Yi Qingtang was going to the underground black market to find that blacksmith and ask for his help to forge a new weapon. The entrance to the underground black market was extremely covert. If not an insider, it was impossible for anyone to find it. Moreover, anyone who entered the underground black market was required to pay the entrance fee regardless of whether they were buying anything inside. After paying the fee, Yi Qingtang brought the little white tiger into the underground black market. The sun was ablaze in the monarch city, but in the underground black market, it was rather dim and dusky, with only the flickering flames from the towering torches lighting this land of darkness hidden under the ground. This place is so smelly. The little white tiger wrinkled its nose the moment it entered the underground black market. Yi Qingtang glimpsed at the little white tiger. In reality, there was no foul smell in this underground black market. Instead, due to the spices sold in the market, there was quite an interesting smell. I don't wish to stay here for long. It's too stinky. Hurry up and do what you want to do. The little white tiger was a little impatient. The smell of those spices did not have any use, and the little white tiger could still smell the stench of decomposed matter concealed beneath the aroma. Your nose is really sharper than a dog's. Yi Qingtang chuckled. Of course, how can a dog's nose be compared to mine? The little white tiger lifted its chin. Did it really think she was complimenting him? Yi Qingtang did not intend to waste any time and walked towards the place that her master in her previous life mentioned. There were messy stalls everywhere in the black market where all sorts of rare treasures were sold. Chapter 681. Black Market 3. What is that? The little white tiger suddenly stopped walking. It saw from afar several shabbily dressed girls shivering in fear as they stood on a wooden stage. Surrounding the stage were numerous wooden cages that were as tall as a person, and many dejected males and females were locked in it. Yi Qingtang stopped in her tracks slowly and looked in the direction that the little white tiger was looking at. When she saw the young girls whose limbs were chained, her brows furrowed automatically. The biggest difference between the underground black market and other places was the trafficking of slaves. Slave trafficking was forbidden in both Formidable Heavens Dynasty and Nine Nights Dynasty, though such prohibition was merely on the surface. In Nine Nights Dynasty's underground black market, slave trafficking was still quietly carried out. Years ago, slave trafficking was completely prohibited in the Nine Nights Dynasty. However, ever since the previous emperor was down with illness and the young emperor succeeded the position, this forbidden transaction started again. Although the masses never mentioned it, everyone knew that the slave trafficking in the Nine Nights Dynasty was controlled by the premier Qin Long in reality. Currently, Qin Long presided over political affairs, and the emperor was young and ignorant. Thus, no one could stop the trafficking of slaves. With Qin Long as their backer, the slave owners were emboldened, and the transaction of slaves was all the more carried out in the open. There were a few muscular men who each held a barbed leather whip, standing on both sides of the stage with fierce and evil expressions. Their bulky bodies were a starking contrast from those shabby young ladies. Despair and horror were etched on the faces of those young ladies. They could only stick to each other while trembling, yet their fear was an admiration pleasure of the buyers who were below the wooden stage. The slave masters waved the leather whip every now and then, making a loud sound. Frightened, those young ladies were shocked to an ash-white shade as they shrieked and whimpered softly. However, their despair and horror attracted the laughter of the onlookers. These are the new arrivals just sent a few days ago. I promise that you all will not be disappointed. A big and fleshy male who stood on the wooden stage laughed as he looked down at the buyers below. As he spoke, he reached out and pulled a young girl over, completely ignoring her struggle and pleas. He ripped her tattered clothes apart, crushing her dignity, and exposed her before everyone. TSK, you humans actually have such a special hobby. The little white tiger understood what was happening already. Those girls and the people in the cage were being sold as a commodity by those fellows who were also humans. Yi Qingtang's face darkened. In her previous life, when she came to the black market, she was mostly led by her other martial brothers, and they intentionally avoided the areas with slave trafficking. This was the first time Yi Qingtang witnessed the scene of a slave trafficking. As the onlookers laughed, the girl who was dragged out cried at the top of her lungs. However, her tears did not bring any compassion and instead excited the buyers. Right at that instant, a male in luxurious clothes arrived in the crowd with a few followers. While that man was dressed gorgeously, his face was exceptionally hideous, and his twisted features seemed to have been burnt before. Chapter 682, Skin 1. Once the slave master on the wooden stage saw that male, he immediately rushed up eagerly. "Young Sir Shangguan, what brings you here today?" When the group of buyers noticed that male, they instinctively made way. The male before them was called Shangguan Rui. His father was the Nine Knights dynasty's Dragon Tiger general and had a large number of troops under him. He was one of Qin Long's trusted subordinates and was regarded highly by Qin Long. Shangguan Rui was the only son of the Dragon Tiger general. Although he had an honorable identity, he was born with many flaws. Not only was his appearance extremely hideous, but he also had a nauseating smell on his body since birth. Because of his flaws and the fact that his father was a general who controlled a massive amount of troops, he could do anything he wanted in the entire Nine Knights dynasty, and even normal influential ministers had to give in to him. Shangguan Rui glanced at the slave master and then at the girls on the wooden stage who were barely clothed. An evil glint shone in his uneven eyes. "I heard that there are quite a few new arrivals today. I'm here to take a look." Yes. They all came not long ago and are all inexperienced. "Do take a look, young Sir Shangguan." The slave master responded obsequiously with an arched back as he rubbed his hands. Shangguan Rui nodded slightly and walked up to the wooden stage with his guards. He stood before those trembling girls frivolously and looked at those terrified girls as though he was scanning through livestock. When he saw the girl whose clothes was torn by the slave master previously, his brows were raised slightly. He stretched a hand out and grabbed on the girl's hair as she was looking down, forcing her to look up. It was a fair and exquisite face. Her pretty facial features were filled with fear and despair. Large teardrops slipped out from the corner of her eyes as she trembled in fear. "Her looks are not bad." Shangguan Rui took a glance of that girl and subsequently nodded at the slave master. The slave master immediately followed him and laughed. "We brought this girl from the eastern region. She is quite young. Just 15. Please, let me go. I beg you." The girl whose hair was tugged on by Shangguan Rui trembled in fear. Her tears were like jewels from a broken pearl necklace that dripped down continuously. "This beauty is really good-looking when she cries." Shangguan Rui narrowed his eyes. As he looked at her terrified behavior, his twisted lips suddenly curled up, and he pulled the girl closer. "Don't be afraid. I will not harm you. Don't worry. Am I not here to save you now?" Shangguan Rui's voice was extremely soft, but there was something blood-curdling in his tone. On top of his unusually ugly face, such close distance caused the girl to be even more frightened. Yet in this despair, the girl seemed to have a straw to clutch at when she heard Shangguan Rui and looked at him imploringly with eyes wide open. Will you really save me?" "Of course. You're so good-looking. How can I bear for you to suffer here?" Shangguan Rui's smile was increasingly sinister. You just need to listen obediently, and I will not harm you. Understand? The girl nodded staggeringly. However, just as she thought she seemed to have found a straw to clutch at, a cold glint suddenly flashed across Shangguan Rui's eyes. He raised his hand and threw that girl to his followers. Skin her. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.